Maybe again this time. The supporting cast is familiar, but the D-backs have a big subtract. Gonzo is Gonzo. Tony La Russa's Cards played all summer with the heaviest of hearts. Their beloved teammate Darryl Kile passed tragically away. The extended family further saddened by the loss of Jack Buck. But from the depths came a St. Louis resolve that catapulted them to a furious 21-4 finish. One reason they got rolling? Scott Rowland at third base. Last October, these teams engaged in a 5-game classic. Is there another one brewing in the desert? Now is the time. For the open of the National League Division Series, and Randy Johnson, the big unit, will be the flamethrower for the home squad against Matt Morris, who lost 2 heartbreakers last year in the opening series against these D-backs.
It's funny. Sometimes I hit a lot of home runs, and sometimes nothing.
Yeah, man, I know what you mean, because sometimes I score a lot of touchdowns, and sometimes I don't.
Yeah, some months I make a lot of phone calls, others not so many.
That's why 10-10-220 is so great.
It's cheap, whether you use a little or a lot.
All calls up to 20 minutes or 99 cents.
That's perfect for me.
Yeah, and sometimes Emmett buys me lunch.
Sometimes Emmett do what?
And sometimes Emmett leaves a big old fat tip.
Dial 10-10-220, then 1 and the number.
Turning raw metal into pure gold isn't easy, unless it's Chevy Truck Month with $500 bonus cash. Use bonus cash with 0% APR on any new 2003 Chevy truck in stock. Or add $500 bonus cash to increase cash back on 2003 Silverado, Avalanche, and Trailblazer. It's a new gold rush on dependable, long-lasting Chevy trucks. Stake your claim. $500 bonus cash ends October 31st at your local Chevy dealer.
Triskaidekaphobia, the fear of the number 13. Nyctophobia, the fear of night. Samhainophobia, the fear of Halloween. It all adds up to the scariest event on television. 13 Nights of Halloween, with creepy movies, all new episodes of Scariest Places, and the extreme illusions of Chris Angel in Mind Freak. 13 Nights of Halloween begins October 19th on ABC Family.
Why do you think When it comes to medicine and medical supplies, it's important that you get exactly what you need when you need it. Express Med, a leading national distributor of diabetes testing supplies and respiratory medications, shares this philosophy and has built their entire business around their customers' needs.
Express Med gives me the time to do some of the things I like to do. I minister through my church a lot. Also have 2 wonderful grandchildren.
Express Med will bill Medicare or your private insurance program directly, so in many cases there is little to no cost to you. Express Med offers free delivery right to your home, and Express Med will handle all of the paperwork for you.
It saves me time, it saves me money, it saves me trouble because it's shipped directly to me.
Express Med customer care representatives are standing by right now to take your call. The call is free, so pick up the phone and call now.
ABC Family's Major League Baseball Division Series. Brought to you by Bear Aspirin. Take it for pain. Take it for life.
They are alive and rocking here at the Bob in downtown Phoenix for Game 1 of the Cards and Diamondbacks. Tony La Russa's team in the postseason for the 3rd straight year for St. Louis, and here's that lineup for the Cardinals, and it's a dangerous lineup indeed that Randy Johnson will face. Vigna to lead off, Marrero in right field, and Jimmy Edmonds in center field. Albert Pujols, what a no sophomore slump for him. That's the understatement of the year. And left, Scott Rowland, last 2 months a Cardinal, making his mark. Renteria, Tino Martinez, Mike Matheny, and Matt Morris, the lineup tonight for the Redbirds. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Berman along with Rick Sutcliffe. So glad you could be with us. It's such a great atmosphere here at Phoenix. Last year when Randy Johnson lost game 2 in a series for the Diamondbacks against the Cardinals, he lost 7 straight postseason decisions. It was like, okay, the guy's a great pitcher. How can he ever win a postseason game? Well, 5 postseason wins later, including 3 in the World Series against the Yankees, says, how can we ever beat this guy? And that's what the Cardinals have to try to come up with a plan tonight, son.
Well, he has been tough to beat in the past, Boomer, but he's even better right now than he has ever been. This year, he won the Triple Crown for a pitcher in the National League. He led the league in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. The one question mark on him has been the postseason. Those 5 wins were big, but the one loss came to this St. Louis Cardinals team. The league's most dangerous offense right now has gotten even better with the addition of Scott Rowland. The one thing, though, out of all the weapons they got, the #1 guy to look out for is Albert Pujols. What a year he put together this year.
And what a year Randy Johnson put together this year. 24-5. He won the pitching Triple Crown in the National League. Most wins, most ERAs, and again, best ERA, and again, most strikeouts, something that he has wanted to do throughout his career. And we are underway with Fernando Vina against the big unit, Randy Johnson. Glad you could join us here late night if you're in the East or the Midwest, or just evening here in the West. And you say right away, Sut, that you just want to see how Vina just handles this at bat. I mean, even if he doesn't get a base hit, right? I mean, is a telltale sign right here?
I think if he just puts it in play, it's going to be a huge lift for his St. Louis Cardinal teammates. Randy Johnson, on the other hand, wants to embarrass Fernando Vina, get that first punch out, and keep this crowd at their high peak.
Ground ball to short. That's Tony Womack. Wide of Mark Grace. And right away, Vina with the slow bouncer, but Womack should have had it. Had a little defensive slump late in the year, and we're seeing that right away. So the Cards with a base runner.
All of those errors as of late, 7 in the last 5 weeks of the season, have come just exactly like this one does, via the throwing error. Plenty of time. You've got Mark Grace at first base. You could bounce that ball anywhere where he could keep his foot on the bag and reach it. He could have made the play. Womack couldn't get it that close.
So all of a sudden, the screaming and yelling, my goodness, there's a base runner against Randy Johnson. Heaven forbid. It's now, what, we got a pin drop in here. As Eli Marrero steps up. Marrero in right field will probably be platooned in this series with J.D. Drew. Marrero, really a catcher by trade, showing what a good athlete he is. And this is right to us. Where were you, Sut? Did you even bring your mitt? Those paws are big enough that you don't need them.
Boomer, you know what? Fans do that one time in their life. They catch a pop-up like that. And 2 days later, when the swelling and the stinging finally comes out of their hands, they realize it wasn't worth it. I let the guys in the booth pick it up. Here it is if you want.
Very nice. Very nice. Randy Johnson throwing baseball. Good hit. It's good to play on the rebound, huh?
See if he's scuffing it or anything.
Yeah. It's an early look. What do you see there?
See, that's the bat right there.
Right.
See, they're not
clean ball.
It's clean and not real dark. Bruce Froman could have rubbed them up a little bit better tonight.
Well, Bruce will get on you for that. You know that. 0-2 to Marrero, and he fouls that back. We say that Randy Johnson, the word strikeout and Randy Johnson are just so synonymous. Here's a guy that turned 39 last month. And what is it? He and Barry Bonds, like, all of a sudden get to 37, 38, and they get better? I mean, are they defying logic? And there it is. He went from 9th to 4th on the all-time strikeout list this year. And with a huge year next year, well, not huge for him because he always gets 300. He'll be over 3,000. Marrero staying alive.
I'll tell you another thing. In the last 4 years, Randy Johnson has seen his win total go from 17 to 19 to 21 to 24 this year. And let's not forget, that's just in 35 starts. So what a terrific percentage he has put up again.
Look, 753 strikeouts in 2 seasons. Are you kidding?
I look at the difference between wins and losses, though. That's the difference between guys in postseason and guys that are not.
Marrero hits this well to left. David DeLucci is going back. He's got room. A couple of steps in front of the wall, and tagging alertly is Vina. He'll move to second. Pretty good wood for Marrero.
You thought it was quiet after the error by Tony Womack. I mean, the wind just went out of the sail of this crowd on this ball hit by Eli Marrero. They're thinking strikeout. Randy Johnson wanted strikeout. Eli Marrero was thinking something else. When he first hit this ball, I think everybody here thought that ball was out of the park, with the exception of Fernando Vina. Look at him and the first base coach, Dave McKay, all over that. Terrific base running on the part of Vina.
So now the dangerous Jimmy Edmonds up 28 homers, 83 ribbies, 311. Edmonds' last 10 games hitting at a 407 clip. As the Cardinals, as a team, the month of September, red hot. Cardinals from September, it's a strike, Johnson, as you can tell, from September 3rd down the wire, 21-4. Hello.
Well, you know, a lot of that too was Tino Martinez also starting to figure out the National League, coming from the American League. But Tino saying this series was so close last year, as was the World Series, he thought one mistake one way or the other would be the difference. We have already, on the first hitter of this series, seen a mistake on the part of Arizona. He'd know a little bit about postseason success.
Postseason baseball, you think?
4 World Series rings later.
How about his 80? Oh, this one is hit a long way to right. Back it goes. Back, 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 back. Gone! Jim Edmonds with a no-doubter off Randy Johnson, and the Redbirds have jumped to a 2-0 lead. He said he was red hot. We don't lie.
You know, he doesn't get many career hits against Randy Johnson, just a 222 average, but that's the 3rd home run hit by Jim Edmonds. Here's a guy that hit 28 this year. We talked about it. It was the best pitcher in the National League against the best lineup right now because of Scott Rowland in the same league. Who's going to win? Right now, advantage St. Louis.
Not many lefties hit homers, period, off Randy Johnson. That's Edmonds' 3rd off Randy Johnson, the most of anyone in the majors. And this is Albert Pujols who gets under this. DeLucci is there, and he'll grab it. So with 2 down, Scott Rowland will be up, but we'll see Randy. He knows right away that that has plenty of legs. And so do they.
They have been doing a lot of that as of late, Boomer, as you mentioned. They're winning 21 of their last 25 games down the stretch. Tried to take that home field advantage away from Arizona. They just came up 1 game short.
You know, I'm seeing Tony La Russa, and I don't mean to be any predictor. Baseball, not the Swami, okay? But I'm seeing Tony.
You got a different jacket on.
I want to throw this out there in the very first inning. We don't know what's going to happen. 1990 World Series, Game 1. Dave Stewart on the mound, bottom of the 1st. Eric Davis, a thunderous home run. It was over. I mean, you didn't know it then. It set the tone for the whole thing. They had beaten Dave Stewart, and the Reds ended up sweeping. I don't predict. Whoa, that's got some hair on it. I'm just saying, first inning home run off a supposedly untouchable pitcher, which Stu certainly was in 1990. Just file it away. Tony was on one side. He hopes 12 years later maybe it turns around. We're in the top of the 1st of a best of 5. I understand.
I think this crowd has kind of gotten to Randy Johnson here. We're seeing a lot of fastballs here in this first inning, as opposed to him pitching as he has throughout his career.
Here is Scott Rowland's first postseason at bat. So it's been a bunch of firsts for Scotty the last couple of months since coming over in that big trade right at the end of July from the Philadelphia Phillies. New contract in tow. Man was just excited, although such an understated young man. But you know, a little different when you go to your first postseason game. There'll be many more for this guy. 2-2 pitch, strikes him out. So that's what the Arizona fans came to cheer about, but Jim Edmonds puts the Cards up 2-0 with a big blast.
You've always got time for a Reese's Fast Break. Creamy Reese's peanut butter, nougat, covered in milk chocolate. Get lost in a Reese's Fast Break.
With 12 local breweries in the U.S., we're very proud of our ability to get our beer, Budweiser, to our customers in its very freshest form. As a brewer, when beer leaves the brewery, it's in its absolute best condition. It's very, very important that that beer gets to you as a smooth, refreshing premium lager. It's nice to know that people will be enjoying the king of beers from our neighborhood to yours.
When life throws you a tough pitch that tests your staying power, it never hurts to have a deodorant with a little extra muscle.
New Arm & Hammer Ultramax Wetness Protection plus the pure power of baking soda. Time release for long-lasting odor protection.
Extra muscle for the game of life.
Want a close shave while avoiding razor burn? The new Extreme 3 from Schick balances 3 blades on a central pivot for a close, comfortable shave. Extreme 3. Get close, not burned.
There you are, Rick Sutcliffe, appearing nightly here in Arizona. I didn't know they had that look down. I didn't know you were here that much.
Come a long ways, haven't we?
So Bob Brenly in the World Champion Arizona Diamondbacks lineup. Tony Womack at short, Junior Spivey, the All-Star second baseman Steve Finley, a hot bat this year in center. Mark Grace, what a story that is, hitting cleanup all of a sudden. Matt Williams, looking like the Matt Williams of old these last 6 weeks. Quinton McCracken in right, David DeLucci in left. Chad Moeller is the catcher. Randy Johnson hitting ninth against young Matt Morris, 20-game winner a year ago for the Redbirds. 17-9 this year with a nice ERA and without question the ace of this staff.
Yeah, and a big thing for him was the postseason experience he gained last year. Although he was 0-1, he pitched terrific in both Game 1 and Game 5 for St. Louis.
In on the grass is Scott Rowland in case Womack can lay one down, and he starts with ball one, does Matt Morris. Bruce Fremming working the plate tonight. Says that's a strike. Bill Miller, not the guy that ran with Barry Goldwater for vice president in '64, but he's the first base on. Ron Meaculpa is at second. Gary Darling is at third. Steve Ripley, believe it or not, the left field line. Mark Hirschbeck from Connecticut in right field. Off the glove of Renteria, over to Vina, not in time. Well, some intriguing leadoff work by the respective guys. That was some smoke.
Most of the time, guys, when they make an error, say, all right, I've let one in, I've got to drive two in. Well, Tony Womack's not going to drive many runs in, but he can score a lot of runs. To me, that should go as a base hit. I've been on the infield a lot of times and seen when a ball's hit that hard, it's knuckling. Renteria had to extend himself as far as he could. His buddy Fernando Vina trying to pick him up, but Womack is on base, as was Vina to start the game.
Well, they put a hit up for a minute, and now they've given it an error. So he giveth, he taketh away in the span of about 20 seconds. But Arizona has a base runner in the speedy Womack. Not great in the stolen base department as he's been in other years, but 29 to lead the ball club. And ball one to Junior Spivey, the second baseman. His first full year, and hello, 301 average and an all-star berth.
There's a new superstar here for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and you're looking at him, Junior Spivey.
Broken back over the head of Renteria. Womack will take third, and the Diamondbacks Diamondbacks in business against Matt Morris with runners at the corners right away.
They knew when Luis Gonzalez went down, somebody was going to have to pick up the slack. And Bob Brindley said there's not really one person in our lineup that can do that. Everybody has to dig a little bit deeper. Tony Womack got it started. Because of Womack's getting on base because of the error, they had shortened up defensively. No way for Renteria to get back to get that blue.
So now the crowd into it with Steve Finley swinging from his heels and sends this to center. Jim Edmonds has plenty of room. Womack to tag. He's home, and it's 2-1. So an error to start each half of the first has resulted in a run.
I'll tell you what, Boomer, the score is 2-1 right now, and I figured that would be the way it was going to end. You know, the first inning hasn't even ended yet. These guys have come out of the box and say, forget about your predictions of this pitcher and that pitcher. We can do some things offensively, even without Craig Counsell, Luis Gonzalez, Arizona putting a run on the board.
And here is Mark Grace. He said he wanted a nice Punch and Judy hitter at the cleanup spot, and you can explain this story better than I. About a week ago, he figured, well, maybe I'll play some first base. Who knows, right?
6 weeks ago, he was 4th on the depth chart at first base for this team. Rick Holbrook, Lyle Overbay, a youngster they called up the last month of the season. Of course, and Rubio Durazo. All of them were in front of Grayson. You know what? You keep your mouth shut. You continue to work hard and cheer your team on. Things happen. You find yourself hitting cleanup in game 1.
It's not as if he can't handle the scenario either. Trapped into the postseason, and the count is 1-2. See the DK 57 and all the Cardinals have, but it means the most to the man on the mound, Matt Morris. Darryl Kile, his great friend. We talk every day, and we talk every time he started. We talk every time Kyle started. Grace past the diving Vina. Base hit. Spivey to second. So the Diamondbacks in business against Matt Morris here in the first. A lot of potential gold gloves out there set for the Cards.
Well, you could give one to every single one of those guys on the infield, including the catcher. A lot of them have been given to the center fielder. Eli Marrero, St. Louis coaching staff says by far is their best athlete. And you know that the better Albert Pujols hits, the better left field he plays. Pretty solid.
Matt Williams, and he rifles a base hit. Spivey being waved around. They're going to test the arm of Pujols, and the throw is in time. Matheny with the tag. The Diamondbacks trying to press the issue, and Albert Pujols came up far. He had plenty of time. They just figured maybe they had the Cardinals rattled a little bit.
I'll tell you who was rattled was Junior Spivey. I mean, he's got terrific athletic ability, but the baseball instincts have not come yet. Look at that ball, clearly already past the infield, already bouncing on the grass, and he had not moved yet. That's a ball that he easily should have scored on. When he didn't get a good jump, the opportunity for Pujols to make a strong throw was there, and a terrific defensive play, as we'll see throughout this series, by Matheny. I don't think third base coach Eddie Rodriguez could believe that Junior Spivey didn't get going.
Strike call to Quentin McCracken. You're right, he froze, and it was through the middle. They figured that Pujols, we talked about all those potential gold glovers. I mean, Pujols is the one that involved here, and that's a great play by Matheny.
Well, he's got a gold glove on.
He may have another one.
His mantle as well. He didn't play a whole lot this year. I don't know that he'll win it. Probably going to go back to Brad Ausmus for the great job Brad did with that young Houston Astro pitching staff. Junior Spivey explaining right now what went on in his mind, but in everybody's mind in this ballpark that's rooting for the Diamondbacks, they can't figure out why it took him so long to take that first step.
Pujols had just 4 assists out there. Of course, he was playing a bunch of positions until Roland came over, and then, hey, you're playing left field just about all the time. None were bigger than that one, that's for sure. 0-2 to McCracken.
What happened to the woe is me Arizona offense without Gonzo and Counsell? I guess there's still some talent left for Bob Brenly to throw out there on a nightly basis. This guy here has really been a huge acquisition, picked up, signed to a minor league free agent contract. Bob Brenly recognized right away that their depth problem could come up, and McCracken has just been a solid offensive threat all year.
Didn't know if he would be ready. He fouled the ball off his shin in the last week of the season. Skies this one to left. Pujols coming in. And Arizona did everything but take the lead. Well, quite a first inning in this supposed pitcher's duel. 2-1 Cardinals.
Share your day. Share your laughs. Share more time together with the whole family this fall with Verizon Wireless. Sign up now on the America's Choice National Family Share Plan and get unlimited nights and weekends to share on up to 4 separate lines. Hurry in and get extra anytime mobile-to-mobile minutes. And buy 1 Kyocera phone for $49.99 and get a second free. So now there's no limit to how much you can share with all your loved ones. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Can you hear me now? Good.
No one spoils me like Mom, but Olive Garden comes close with their never-ending pasta bowl. They make all these delicious homemade sauces, then you pick which ones you want with which pastas. You get all you want, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks for $7.95. Olive Garden, when you're here, your family.
Some say he's still out wandering these hills, looking for his lost head. It's a true story.
Okay, time to go to bed.
For when you need it most.
Uh-oh.
Our longest lasting Energizer Max ever.
What was that?
Energizer Max. Do you have the bunny inside?
Just because a toothbrush is electric doesn't mean it works like a Sonicare. It has patented sonic technology. Sonicare gets your teeth whiter and healthier in just 28 days, guaranteed. See for yourself or ask your dental professional about the Sonicare difference.
Miss an all-new original special, Chris Angel Mind Freak, premieres Sunday, October 20th, part of the 13 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family.
Welcome to our baseball studios. Carl Ravitch and Jeff Brantley want to let you know what's going on in the Bronx. Yankees-Angels game 1, 4-4. Troy Gloss at the plate against Ramiro Mendoza.
Mendoza, right-handed sinker ball pitcher, tough to keep it straight on the outside part of the plate. It runs back over. Gloss deposited in the left field bullpen.
Gloss's second home run of the game made it 5-4. Right now, the Yankees have men on first and second for Giambi, who's already homered. Scott Schoenweiss is on in relief. Boomer will update you.
Ravi and Jeff, I know we're going to keep you up late tonight, but why not watch some baseball, huh? Get the popcorn going. I'm sure we can keep something open for you there in Bristol. You have connections.
How about a 2-run win for the Minnesota Twins today? A 1-run game in New York and a 1-run ball game here. That's what October baseball is all about, Boomer.
Absolutely. This may beat all the games the way this is going today.
Well, I think both these starting pitchers will settle down now. One thing that helps, it's the bottom part of the lineup, sure. But, you know, you get your fastball located in the bullpen warming up. You get your curveball, your change, possibly. But the one thing you don't have control of is your adrenaline. And both Matt Morris and Randy Johnson just a little too pumped up. Too many high fastballs in that first inning.
0-2 pitch to Edgar Renteria. That is inside. Renteria, certainly no stranger to postseason heroics. Everyone remembers him as just a youngster with the Game 7 base hit off Charlie Nagy. 11th inning, Florida Marlins beat the Cleveland Indians in the World Series. What people forget was that his first postseason game ever, Game 1 in the National League Division Series for Renteria against the San Francisco Giants in a pitcher's duel, had a base hit in the bottom of the ninth off Roberto Hernandez to give the Marlins the win 2-1. They don't win that game, they fall behind. Who knows? So he began and ended the 97 playoffs with walk-off clutch hits. That's a long time ago, huh? Because he's been in the postseason 3 times with the Cards.
And I tell you, you mentioned he was a youngster then. To me, he's still a youngster.
Right.
He just turned 27 years of age, but already this is his 7th year at the big league level.
Last year, and here it is, of course, everybody in Cleveland can give a collective cringe. And there's Craig Counsell, right? So guys that Counsell is injured, but some names that we're talking about tonight. Counsell scored it, Renteria's hit won it, and the Marlins won the World Series. This time Womack has another chance for a throw, does so, and Renteria is out.
I'll tell you the guy that finally could put the memory of that loss away is the third baseman, Matt Williams. Take a look at Womack here, getting settled down a little bit now. Same kind of throw, just obviously better aim. But Matt Williams, part of that Cleveland Indians team. He saw Jose Mesa blow the save, Renteria with the game-winning hit. Eased the pain with that World Series ring he picked up last year, I'm sure.
Well, here's a guy with a few of them. Tino Martinez, who in another life was a teammate with the guy on the mound, Randy Johnson, when they were both Seattle Mariners. Hit, but right at Junior Spivey, and Tino's gone there, 2 out. Ravi.
Against Scott Schoenweiss. Boomer, Scott Schoenweiss to Jason Giambi. This is his 3rd hit and his 3rd RBI. I think he is now fully a New York Yankee. It's 5-5. Brendan Donnelly's now coming on for the Yanks, who still have 2 on.
Now, he was fully, I think, Ravi, that you're right. Postseason now gives you the ultimate stamp as Mike Matheny steps in and looks at ball 1. But that home run that he hit in the wee hours of the morning in the driving rainstorm against the Twins, right? The slam after Minnesota got 3 in the top of whatever it was, the 14th, and he hit the home run in the bottom, and he was a Yankee then. They need him now.
They're not big on people having good regular seasons and shutting it down. They like seeing stuff like what Jason's putting on tonight.
2 balls to Mike Matheny. As I told you, an outstanding defensive catcher with the bat okay, a .244 season. Gold Glove 2 years ago. Pride of Reynoldsburg, Ohio. Played at the University of Michigan. Now 32 years of age. Johnson walks him to get to the pitcher. That's pretty much a no-no, isn't it, Seth?
Well, you know, particularly the 8th guy, when he doesn't have a lot of power. With Matheny, if you just stay on the outer half of the plate, he'll keep it in the ballpark for you. And right now, that location, it's just not quite there. The breaking ball's just kind of rolling for Randy. Tino got a breaking ball, hit it real hard for the 2nd out of this inning, and now just that fastball command's not there yet. You better jump on him now, or he may settle in.
Matt Morris hits it to right. Quentin McCracken is there. The Cardinals are gone. So Johnson gets his opposite to fly out and heading to the bottom of the 2nd. 2-1 Redbirds.
Turning raw metal into pure gold isn't easy, unless it's Chevy Truck Month with $500 bonus cash. Use bonus cash with 0% APR on any new 2003 Chevy truck in stock. Or add 500 bonus cash to increase cash back on 2003 Silverado, Avalanche, and Trailblazer. It's a new gold rush on dependable, long-lasting Chevy trucks. Stake your claim. 500 bonus cash ends October 31st at your local Chevy dealer.
Could you?
They're on my face. They're on my cheeks and forehead. My nose, my chin. People don't know what they are, but they certainly do notice them. Finally, a dermatologist told me what it actually is. She said, don't worry, it can be treated. Those are nice words to hear.
Melasma is a skin condition that affects as many as 6 million people. Melasma is caused by imbalances in hormone levels, which can occur if you've recently been pregnant, take birth control pills, or you're going through menopause. Sun exposure can make melasma worse, but prescription medications are available that can effectively treat melasma. So see a dermatologist and call to receive a free melasma information kit, which contains a valuable information guide plus a list of dermatologists in your area.
I'm visible proof. Now, instead of noticing the brown patches, people are thinking something else.
Call today and get the right kind of help for your melasma.
Wednesday nights for you.
There's something I want you to do.
Uncle Stretch. 2 scrumptious dads.
Someone report a fire, ma'am.
That'll make you laugh.
Couldn't believe a woman as beautiful as you would be with a guy like me. Thought you had to stay with me a month to win a bet.
It's Damon.
Coming, dear.
And George.
Hello, ladies.
Ladies Night gets a couple of delicious dads.
You just be my baby, that's all.
My Wife and Kids and George Lopez. Wednesday starting at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Chris Berman, Rick Sutcliffe with you here at Bank One Ballpark in Arizona. The Cards lead 2-1 here in the bottom of the second, and they're both leadoff men getting on by way of the error. Fernando Vina got on when Womack's throw to Grace was awry, and Jim Edmonds slugged the 2-run shot off Randy Johnson. Then an error by Renteria. Vina tried it, but Womack gets on, and he would eventually come around to score. So an error has led to a run for each squad. It's a 2-1 game as we begin the bottom of the second. Edmonds' 6th postseason home run, by the way, at 2 against Arizona last year. The hitting continues, although this one was hit well at Jim Edmonds and Dave DeLucci. 1 pitch, 1 out. We're not going to squeeze many by Jimmy Edmonds in center field.
Well, nor his counterpart tonight, with that being Steve Finley. Both the center fielders with all 3 of the RBIs thus far. And you know, before it's over with, Boomer, they're going to take some runs away from the opponent with what they can do with the leather.
So Chad Moeller, one of 3 catchers on the postseason roster for Bob Brenly and the Diamondbacks. Moeller in mid-season began to be the guy catching Randy Johnson, and now he's hitting for Randy Johnson past the diving Scott Rowland. Base hit. Moeller coming up with the Twins organization. Many of the guys playing with the Twins today are happy for him. They all were teammates with the New Britain Rock Cats a couple of years ago, and Moeller's become a caddy for Randy, which is pretty good work.
Well, it came because of the injury to Damian Miller. Damian had caught Randy Johnson exclusively the last 3 years, all of them Cy Young award-winning type years. But when Damian Miller got hurt, Chad Miller was the guy that Randy selected as opposed to Rod Barajas. He fell in love with him, and they've remained together.
Johnson tried to pull back the bunt, but it was ruled that he offered at it, so it's strike 1. Randy?
You know, not a real pretty swing for Randy Johnson. He'll be the first to tell you that. He's never hit a career home run. But look at those 8 RBIs to go along with 6 sacrifice bunts this year.
I told you, he's turned, he gets past 37, 38, and he's doing everything well, right? Better hitter later on. Of course, early on, he didn't swing the bat with Seattle, with Houston, that half season, and then here in Arizona. A couple of swats a long time ago with Les Expos. No one remembers that he was an Expo. Nobody. And he pulled that back as well. So The improved batsmanship not apparent at that time. Bill Miller, the ump, thumbing him out.
Well, Matt Moore is just saying, I'm not going to let you get the job done. Watch what he sees. All three of these pitches are breaking ball. This last one with a lot of movement down and out of the strike zone. Matheny all over it, keeping it in front of him and keeping the runner at first base, Chad Moeller, right there.
So 2 out now for the top of the lineup, Tony Womack. In on the grass is rolling at third. A breaking ball for Morris. And that misses ball 1.
Just changes everything, not getting that sacrifice done, because now you play your outfield deep to cut off any extra base hit, as opposed to with a man on second and 2 out. Now you got to shorten them up, and by shortening them up to possibly have a play at home plate, you create more gaps for a line drive to get through. So that's such an important part of the game in the National League, pitchers being able to get the job done with the bat.
Moeller with the lead. Womack swinging at 2-0 to Edmonds. He'll glove it. And we've played a pair here in Phoenix. Edmonds, Cardinals coming up. Jimmy's already hit a 2-run shot. What will he do this time off Randy Johnson? 2-1 St. Louis.
Tried Rolaids lately? It's fruity, smooth, with a taste test-proof Tums can't beat. And extra-strength Rolaids quickly neutralizes 21% more acid than Tums EX. Rolaids spells fast relief with a taste that can't be beat.
You've always got time for a Reese's Fast Break. Creamy Reese's peanut butter, nougat, covered in milk chocolate. Get lost in a Reese's Fast Break.
When life throws you a tough pitch, that tests your staying power. It never hurts to have a deodorant with a little extra muscle.
New Arm & Hammer Ultramax wetness protection plus the pure power of baking soda. Time release for long-lasting odor protection.
Extra muscle for the game of life.
There are at least 100 things you'd rather do than deal with the stress of filling out an application and qualifying for a home loan. But if you want the benefits of refinancing, it seems you have no choice.
I can't make it tonight. I want to get this loan application finished.
At AmeriQuest Mortgage, we give you a choice and a much easier way to get a loan. You see, at AmeriQuest, you work with one local loan advisor, someone who takes the time to explain things and actually does the paperwork for you. Someone who treats you like more than a credit score. Someone like me. With 2 decades of experience and over 200 branches nationwide, AmeriQuest knows how to offer you the no-stress home loan. The time is right, so call AmeriQuest now at 1-800-297-5052 or go to urmore.com. That's 1-800-297-5052. Call AmeriQuest, the company that knows you are more.
Well, it seems like the magic of games 4 and 5 of the World Series last year never left. They trailed 5-4, tied it at 5, and Bernie Williams takes Brendan Darnley out. A 3-run home run, only the 3rd home run Darnley's given up all year. Mike Scioscia's going to be asked why he didn't bring Troy Percival in the 9th. He had opportunities in the 8th, I should say. 8-5, Boomer, and you remember games 4 and 5.
How could we ever forget it? How could the nation ever forget it, Ravi, as Fernando Vina rips this first pitch foul. Yeah, that, boy, a lot of long ball there tonight. Jambi homered. You saw Bernie homer there. Rondell White homered. Troy Gloss with a pair.
A lot of long ball went on during the regular season for those Yankees. What a lineup.
The Bronx Bombers, indeed. Vina slaps at it. Charging is Spivey. The quick pitch to Grace. Vina's gone 1 out in the Cardinal 3rd. Yeah, those games were unreal. You've been looking at Randy very closely.
Well, yeah, there was a period back in the month of August where he was tipping his pitches. Take a look at, remember the intimidating look that he used to give you right over the top of his glove? He's not doing that anymore. He's starting his delivery now with his glove down at his waist. Well, they're picking a hole at, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And Tony's getting it right now across to Grace. And Marrero is gone. So very quickly, 2 outs in the third for Randy Johnson. And here comes Jimmy Edmonds, who homered off him.
You know, that's something, Boomer, that it happened to everybody, really, at one point or another. I remember Dwight Gooden's rookie year when you knew every pitch that was coming. His finger would stick up out of his glove when he was going to throw a curveball. And yet he was still like 17-9. You know every pitch that's coming. With Randy Johnson now, even at 39 years of age, you have to make adjustments. He was fanning his glove every time he would throw a breaking ball. And people were laying off of that pitch, and he couldn't understand why. He and pitching coach Chuck Niffen figured it out. And now look at him. They're taking that breaking ball again. Reason he was a National League Pitcher of the Month in September, as he was in the month of April.
Well, Edmonds homered off him, but now Johnson ahead 0-2. Ripped to the gap in left center. Over quickly is Dave DeLucci. Boy, Jimmy Edmonds is on it. Randy Johnson this season, here's a number for you, son. After a head 0-2, 101 batting average opposite him. However, Edmonds would have nothing of it. He is just seeing what we told you how hot he was in September. He's not kidding.
You know what, Boomer? I was talking with Woody Williams, who, as we take a look at Woody now, won't be able to pitch game 3. He tried throwing on the side yesterday, and those ribs just would not loosen up. There's a lot of pain there. But Woody said, watch Edmonds tonight. He says nobody loves the big stage more than him. Well, with Randy Johnson on the mound, I got to be honest with you, I didn't really believe Woody. What's he going to do off the big unit? Most left-handed hitters don't even play off Randy. But
he's played all right.
And Tony La Russa kind of bucking the trend. Vina and Tino out there.
There goes Edmonds. Here's the throw, and it's in time. So they tested the young catcher, Chad Muller, and Muller was right on the money. Edmonds gone, 2-1 Cardinals, bottom of the third.
Carrier's Weathermaker Infinity is the world's most totally efficient gas furnace. With our exclusive Comfort Heat technology, it can save you up to 40% on your home heating costs. Carrier, 100 years of innovation.
Healthy Choice introduces everything you love about a grilled meal without the grill. New Healthy Choice mixed grills. Tender chunks of grilled chicken with seared-in flavor, tangy barbecue dipping sauce, and crisp vegetables. A delicious way to eat healthy. Real food and plenty of it.
Just the way I like it. Grilled.
6 new mixed grills from Healthy Choice.
When it comes to medicine and medical supplies, it's important that you get exactly what you need when you need it. Express Med, a leading national distributor of diabetes testing supplies and respiratory medications, shares this philosophy and has built their entire business around their customers' needs.
Express Med gives me the time to do some of the things I like to do. I minister through my church a lot. Also have 2 wonderful grandchildren.
Express Med will bill Medicare or your private insurance program directly, so in many cases there is little to no cost to you. Express Med offers free delivery right to your home, and Express Med will handle all of the paperwork for you.
It saves me time, it saves me money, it saves me trouble because it's shipped directly to me.
Express Med customer care representatives are standing by right now to take your calls. The call is free, so pick up the phone and call now.
Game 1's been a dandy thus far here in Phoenix. The Diamondbacks, defending world champions, have their hands full with the St. Louis Cardinals. And those of you that have just come over, perhaps watch the finishing touches of that Yankees 8-5 win. This is Chris Berman with Rick Sutcliffe. Glad you could join us. Jim Edmonds, a 2-run homer off Randy Johnson in the first inning. That quieted everything down. The Diamondbacks getting one back in their half of the first. We are now bottom 3, 2-1. St. Louis behind Matt Morris, working to 2-3-4. Junior Spivey, Steve Finley, and Mark Grace. The Diamondbacks with 3 base hits in the first inning, but a play by Pujols at the plate to Matheny to hail the runner Junior Spivey. High chopper. Scott Rowland leaps and going backwards makes the play. Spivey and Robinson. Now Bob Brenly will discuss it with first base umpire Bill Miller. What a play by Rowland. I didn't see any way he physically could even make the throw.
You talk to anybody in that St. Louis Cardinal clubhouse, they'll tell you he's the best third baseman ever. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I saw a lot of good ones. I saw Mike Schmidt. I saw some people play that position, but none of them with the range and the athleticism of this guy. How does he get to this ball, first of all? I think even as an umpire, you can get caught up in that. How does he get rid of that with that much on it from that position? Is he safe? Sure, he's safe. But I tell you what, Bill Miller, the first base umpire, got caught up in what he saw, and he made a bad call.
Rowland showing you why he's won 3 Gold Gloves and maybe another, although certainly by those angles it looked as if Spivey had it beat, but you only get one shot at it, and it's a bang play.
And we see him a lot closer than that the umpires usually get right. I think he got caught up in what he saw with Scott Rowland. That wasn't that tough a call.
Two and one the count to Steve Finley, who drove in the Diamondbacks run in the first with a sac fly to center, and the booing continues. They show the replay, of course, up on the big screen here for Bob. Roof, by the way, open tonight, and so they're hoping that maybe some others looking down from above could see that maybe they might have missed a call.
Somebody's in a lot of trouble for showing that replay here. We're allowed to do it.
Oh, yeah, we have to.
They're not.
Walk to Finley, and that'll bring up Mark Grace, who singled in the first. This is what Bill Miller is looking at real time here, Sut.
You know, we've been watching Hall of Famer Robin Yount, the first base coach for Arizona, for a long time. He didn't complain as a player unless he knew he was right. He doesn't complain as a coach except for when he knew he was right.
Morris starts Grace off with a strike.
As he did in the first at bat for Mark Grace. Same type of situation. This is as good a hit and run man as there is in baseball. That being Mark Grace. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Bob Brenly doesn't have a lot of activity with all of the speed in the lineup in front of Mark.
And now any play over to first is going to remind people that that's where the at least villain of the moment is standing.
Well, and
not going to change anything.
He's going to be standing for game 2.
Yeah.
Behind home plate.
Yep.
It's going to be a long series for him here.
You know where he's going to be standing for game 3?
As far away from it as he can get.
Left field in San Francisco. The umpiring crews will switch. They will switch. This crew will go and pick up the other series at the other park in the National League. And
I wondered why you were talking to Bruce Fleming before they.
No, stop it. Stop it. He wants to talk Packer football with me. That's what he wanted to do.
No, Bruce.
No, I'm not talking about what he might call a pack belt.
I guarantee you he tried to get Super Bowl tickets from you, didn't he?
He brought it up. I said, Bruce, he said, anybody call you yet? I said, not today. It's only October 1st, Bruce.
You know, speaking of calls by Bruce, I'll tell you what, this is his 32nd year as a big league umpire, and he might have lost a step, but he hasn't lost his eyesight. He still does a terrific job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 2-2 to Grace. Morris with a courtesy toss, which draws louder boos. I love it on Finley. You see Morris give up 3 singles in the first inning. Has he settled down? Is that what it is? Has he changed something, Sut?
Yeah, he's using his breaking ball more. Really a great plan of attack by both hitting coaches tonight. Swinging at that first pitch fastball.
And there goes the runner, and throwing is Matheny with a bullet, but a good break by Finley. Stolen base. Finley had 16 stolen bases in the regular season, and he got a good jump.
Well, you could see that. He probably had 8 steps before the lead foot of Matt Morris hit the ground. Matheny can throw with anybody in baseball, but he had no chance there with that jump.
And now if Grace can just plunk one in, we may have ourselves a tie ball game here in the bottom of the 3rd. He fouls that one back to stay alive.
Well, you have to figure that Gracie's going to put it in play. You got to make some kind of a pitch to strike this guy out. It's been that way his whole career. Even with a down year offensively, still more walks and strikeouts.
And he will draw the base on balls. So 2 on here for the home squad in the 3rd. Ravi, what do you got?
Boomer, we have it all working out for the Yanks. Rivera comes on in the 9th, gets it done. The offense provided by Jeter, Giambi, and Berti. They go 7 for 10, JB.
Just didn't get the closer in the ball game for the Angels. You know, if his Percival's sitting in the bullpen, he can't close it out. One out there in the 8th, didn't bring him in, worked out perfect for the Yankees. They get him in the ball game, 3-run lead.
Well, New York has a 1-0 lead in the series. They win it by a final score of 8-5 with some 8th inning magic.
All right, guys, yeah, Jeter homer 2 to start the thing off. So ball's flying out.
Jeter homer must be October.
Yeah, oh yeah, just October. He didn't wait long, does he? I mean, October 1st. Oh, okay. Matt Williams finishing well in a regular season. Skies this one. Tino Martinez, speaking of guys that certainly have hit their share of home runs in the Bronx, makes the play, and they're 2 outs. To bring up the big Q, Quentin McCracken, and you see the shin guard he's got. We weren't sure if he'd be ready. I mean, it was nasty last week. Foul ball off the shin.
Yeah, he did it twice in the exact same spot. They had to drain the fluid off of it. Several of the Diamondback players saying that they got queasy just looking at it. But he's got an opportunity to play in the postseason. He wasn't going to let it get by.
With Luis Gonzalez gone, I mean, it makes it much more of a factor here for Bob Brennan.
What a great story, man. I mean, McCracken a year ago released by Tampa Bay. He was released by Minnesota. Arizona's done a real nice job with these retreads, I guess you could say it. It was Counsell last year.
Slaps it to the left side. Renteria dives. He's not going to get it. Finley coming to beat Pujols' throw, and we're tied at 2. It's a good bit of hitting right there by McCracken, and Finley, I see that stolen base comes right on back to pay off for the D-backs.
McCracken just being real intelligent with his first 2 at-bats. He knows with the big curveball of Matt Morris, you got to stay on it. When you get a fastball away, don't try to do anything more with it than let him dictate the action. He just slapped the ball through the hole. Rolen had to play shallow to respect the speed and the possible bunt by McCracken. That's the only reason this ball was able to get by him. Look at where he's at right there, all right? He knows he can't get there. He tried to go to 3rd in case Renteria could knock it down, maybe get a force play there. He couldn't get it either. Nothing Pujols could do as well.
Tony La Russa watching is pitching coach Dave Duncan. That duo's been together for a long time. All the success they had at Oakland. Say no more than the 20 games won every year by Dave Stewart and the 27-game year by Bob Welch. And they made Mike Moore such a good pitcher, and Sanderson, and all those trips to the postseason in Oakland. But you know what? And you can see Morris's numbers. You know, he's been to the postseason as many times with the Cardinals as he has with Oakland, and you don't think that that's true. 4 and 4.
you know, he's a big part of that being Dave Duncan, them getting to that postseason. You mentioned those names, Stewart and Welch, and you think, well, they're great pitchers. Well, they really weren't until he got a hold of them.
Morris walks off. Count 1-0 to Dave DeLucci. Yeah, last year, remember the 2 games Morris pitched. In game 1, he allowed 1 run. In game 5, he allowed 1 run. And losing them both to Curt Schilling in an unbelievable fashion. So, I mean, all of a sudden, this is a deluge allowed by Morris. Heaven forbid he's given up 2 runs. But got to be careful. It could open up a little floodgate here if DeLucci gets a hold of one. Taking it 2-0 for the strike.
You know, people think with Matt Morris and Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling, well, it's all about pitching with these 2 teams. They were the top 2 run-scoring teams in the National League, even with all of the injuries both teams have had.
Cumming calls out a strike, so 2-2. 2 on, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, tied at 2. And looking at charts for the next time out for the big unit, he'd like to go out there with a lead. Breaking ball, that's chopped over the head of Robin Yount.
I'll tell you why he's looking at it, because of the guy due to lead off the top of the 4th. That's Albert Pujols. You know, you talk it over with your pitching coach. What do you think? You know, I got Roland coming up after that, and Renneria. You saw what happened the first time around. I struggled a little bit. What's your thoughts? How should I approach him this time around?
So everything remains at deuce. Deuce is wild here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Here's another guy, Boomer. We mentioned McCracken being injured. The wrist of David DeLucci once again has bothered him. Hadn't played in several days. Wanted to play the last day of the year, but Bob Brindley held him out in hopes that he would be even healthier for tonight's game.
Will there be room? Roland, plenty of room, and Roland makes the play. So the Diamondbacks tie it, but they do strand a pair. Pujols and Roland coming up. We got a good one brewing here in the desert. Tied at 2.
Turning raw metal into pure gold isn't easy, unless it's Chevy Truck Month with $500 bonus cash. Use bonus cash with 0% APR on any new 2003 Chevy truck in stock. Or add 500 bonus cash to increase cash back on 2003 Silverado, Avalanche, and Trailblazer. It's a new gold rush on dependable, long-lasting Chevy trucks. Stake your claim. 500 bonus cash ends October 31st at your local Chevy dealer.
Easy Twist by Easy Clip. Also available with a magnetic sun clip at your local eye care professional.
There's a place where I get my favorite Italian sauces with all kinds of pastas, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks. Sounds like Mom's house, but it's Olive Garden and their never-ending pasta bowl for $7.95. Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
Sub-Zero flavor inside, delicious cold minty shell outside. The gum that puts your breath on ice for a long time. Dentine Ice. Nothing's colder than ice.
2, 1. This month on DirecTV Customer News, we're counting down the reasons you made the right choice when you picked DirecTV. DirecTV. From rockin' DirecTV preview events to sizzling digital technology. How you can watch DirecTV as you fly across the country with good old-fashioned customer care. Tune into Channel 201 and find out about all the jazzy benefits you get with DirecTV. Yeah, yeah. DirecTV Customer News. See you there.
There is no off-season with Sports Pack. Added to any programming package for $12 a month or less, and you'll get more sports from more places on more channels, including 20 regional sports networks, the Golf Channel, NBA TV, Fox Sports World, and much, much more. Get inside the action with up-to-the-minute regional coverage from around the country and the world. When you order Sports Pack, there is no off-season.
Top of the 4th in Arizona. Cards 2, Diamondbacks 2. Game 1, best of 5. Last year, you know, all the publicity was that Yankees-Oakland first-round series that was unbelievable for the second straight year. This one was just as good. Are they at it again? Well, Albert Pujols is at it again. This will be a deep gap for one hop off the wall. Bounds away from Finley, and Pujols is going to try for 3. Here's the relay from Spivey. Not in time. So Pujols, who was up when Edmonds was thrown out stealing the last inning, now just jumps on the first offering from the unit. And then it took a crazy carom out there, enabling to get another base shot.
Well, Steve Finley did everything he possibly could. That is an outstanding pitch there. There are very few people that can hit that pitch that hard and that far. But Pujols has become one of them. Finley cuts it off. He gets it to the relay man. Not near in time. Look at that pitch. It seems like what Chuck Niffen discussed with Randy Johnson was to throw the off-speed stuff.
And then this one is belted back. It goes back, 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 and goodbye. Scott, rock and rollin', rocks the unit.
How about that?
Triple and homer. 2 pitches.
2 off-speed pitches, Boomer. It was like he said, all right, the first time around they were looking fastball. Let's try something different. An outstanding splitter hit for a triple. Look at the breaking ball. I mean, it's kind of a first pitch get over strike. Well, guess what? It got over that fence in left center in a hurry.
Rolen, who had the most homers in the National League in September with 10, now has tied for the most homers in the National League in October with 1. Hello for a first postseason game ever, huh? And this is quiet, and that's a chopper through the box by Edgar Renteria. You said at the outset, the most dangerous lineup top to bottom in the National League. And they didn't care that they were playing against Randy Johnson. And so far, they have gone up there with authority. Edmonds homered, Pujols triple, Rolen homer, 4-2 Cards.
You know, you just wonder, Boomer, how long can they stay hot offensively? You know, teams just, they'll get hot for maybe 10 days or 2 weeks, and then they kind of cool down a little bit. Well, the difference with this ball club as opposed to any other is that there's so much depth there. I mean, Tino Martinez hitting 7th for you. Renteria has been in that 7th hole most of the year. From top to bottom, they offensively can make a lot of things happen. And when you've got that kind of pressure taken off your pitching staff, you know, just stay away from the big inning. Thus far tonight, Matt Morris has done that. Giving up a single run in the first, single run in the third, still got a 2-run lead.
Chuck Niffen, the pitching coach, was out to visit. And now here is Tino Martinez. As we sit back in the early part of the 90s. And certainly in 95, Seattle's first foray into the postseason. Tino was the first baseman. Randy Johnson was the ace. And the team beat Jim Edmonds' California Angels squad in a 1-game playoff to win the AL West.
You know, Tino's always been a winner. I mean, it started in high school when he was state champs in his home state of Florida, part of the 1988 gold medal winning team.
There goes the base runner, and the throw is a nice one, but not quite for Moeller, and Renteria has stolen second base.
Both of these teams know that when these starting pitchers are on, they're difficult to score upon. Well, the one flaw they both have had this year is allowing the stolen base. Renteria off and running. Steve Finley did it in the last inning. I'll tell you what, boy, Renteria, what a player. What a great human being. I mean, this is a guy that just, if he goes 4 for 4 and the Cardinals lose, he's upset. If he goes 0 for 4 and they win, he's having a ball.
Spivey over to Grace. Tino Martinez is gone, but Renteria, the pride of Barranquilla, Colombia, is on to third. Now tomorrow, 3 postseason games, 2 of them here on ABC Family. They have a
Brian Tony Gwynn on the call at 1 Eastern, 10 out here out west for the Giants and Braves. That's the series that gets started a day after everybody else. Twins pulled the shocker in game 1. Can they do it again? After spotting the A's a big lead, they won today 7-5. That'll be at 4 with John and Joe. And then Fox have the Angels at the Yankees tomorrow night. This is the oddball series that begins Tuesday, then has a day off tomorrow. Then we'll be back Thursday at 4 Eastern for game 2 of this series, still in Arizona, with Curt Schilling pitching for the Arizona Diamondbacks against Chuck Finley for the Cardinals.
You know, Tony La Russa likes to squeeze as much as any manager in the National League.
Or a little broken bat job will do it. Renteria will come around to score. So Matheny with a base hit, and the Cardinals with a 5-2 lead.
Bob Finley just has to be in disbelief with what's going on. He had everything in place. He had Randy Johnson, and with the off days throughout this series, able to pitch twice on his normal rest. But he didn't expect anything like this. On the other hand, Tony La Russa did. This is the same club he has watched since Scott Rowland joined him.
Five runs, 6 hits for the Redbirds. I mean, and this is Johnson and Schilling, who are almost automatic. And St. Louis has just hung a 5 spot here, and we're not done with the 4th. Scampering back is Matheny in there for a strike as Morris could not lay it down.
Well, Boomer, and those 5 runs by 5 different guys, that has been a lot of times.
There it is. 47-12 for the big 2. Other starters 25 and 33. So you mean to tell me that you're going to grab a lead and think about winning game 1 against Randy Johnson? How big does that stand up? And there are the numbers.
Well, I'll tell you what, they haven't won it yet.
No, I understand.
We both know that.
Oh, I understand that.
But it's got to be a victory to their offense, just seeing that there's 5 runs already on the board. I know if we would have asked Tony La Russa when we met with him before the game, Tony, we'll give you 5 runs right now. Will you take it? You know he would have.
Where do I sign up?
He wants more now.
Morris can't lay that one down. So whereas Johnson couldn't do it before, Morris can't do it now. And
well, you know, we mentioned all the sacrifice bunts, 5 of them for Matt Morris during the regular season, the 6 we mentioned for Randy Johnson. Well, it's a little bit different trying to lay down a bunt off these 2 guys when they're on the mound pitching. They realize what you're trying to do. They throw difficult pitches to get that done. Hard breaking balls down in the dirt, high fastballs.
So now here is Vimy looking at a breaking ball for ball 1. Matt Williams in on the grass a little bit. And you can move, and we'll drop it. Matty it again.
Vimy practiced bunting for a base hit to the first base side a lot during batting practice. He didn't lay anything down towards the third baseman. But every single round during batting practice tonight, he tried to pull a bunt with him in the direction of first base, thinking that he could beat Randy Johnson in a foot race to the bag if he had to.
Two and 1. Vimy played his college ball right here in Arizona State, won the Pac-10 batting title back in 1990. Chopper up the middle, and that will evade Spivey. Holding at second base is Matheny. So there you go. Had the bunt been laid down, who knows? Although Matheny running, who knows? It might not have happened, but certainly would have given the Redbirds a chance at another run, but they still have it here with a couple on for Eli Marrero.
How about already tonight 3 hits by left-handed hitters in Tony La Russa's lineup? You know, when you take a longer look at the numbers, which I'm sure you did, Boomer, left-handed hitters this year hit 220 off Randy Johnson. Right-handers only 208. I mean, granted, the left-handed hitters that Randy Johnson faced this year were Barry Bonds and Sean Green and Todd Heltons. Those guys, they're going to play against anybody. But still, numbers higher.
The speed was higher on that pitch, too.
I think there was a little message sent there. Randy's saying, you know, enough's enough. He's made some decent pitches on the outer half of the plate, and they have been hit hard, particularly the one by Albert Pujols. You can understand wanting to move somebody off the plate.
Drops in on the outside corner, 2-1 to Marrero. With Edmonds on deck. 2 on, 3 already home here in the Cardinal fourth. Very quiet here at the Bob. They're shocked. They gotta be. Not only runs, but with authority. 2 homers, triple. Well, Randy tonight has what, just 2 Ks thus far?
You know, and there could have been more runs. Take a look at Curt Schilling here. He knows what it's like to be roughed up by this Cardinals lineup. That happened to him in his last start. 2 3-run homers and a loss for Curt.
Rowland hitting one of them.
J.D. Drew the other.
There's the strikeout that he needed. Strikeout number 3, but the Cards have got 3. They lead it 5-2.
Now is the time.
You're watching the MLB Divisional Playoffs on ABC Family.
I am very proud of my lawn.
We enjoy it as much as he does.
Our neighbors usually ask me what I use, and I tell them. You know, I use Scott's Winterizer.
He really cares.
When you apply it in the fall, the food actually enters the root system. It stores it over the winter, and then in the spring, it perks that grass right up. It explodes, basically. Obviously, it's a critical step.
He's tried other products, too.
It just didn't work out. Scott's Winterizer gives me the last green lawn in the fall and the first green lawn in the spring.
Old Navy painter's pants are one of a kind.
A better price you'd be hard-pressed to find.
Quality construction, that's our guarantee.
Old Navy painters.
You're the pants for me.
The price
is nice.
He'll wear.
This pair.
Wow, they're just $15 to $20 for men and boys.
Old Navy, we are there.
So what happened? I don't know what happened. I have no idea why she dumped me. I always treated her right. Yes, I did. I did, didn't I? Yes, you did. I did. You did. She's insane. Man, I don't even know you saw her. I mean, I would never go out with her. Oh, I know. She'll come crawling back. Don't worry.
You guys need a bud.
Hey, ladies, Wednesday nights for you.
There's something I want you to do.
Uncle Stretch. 2 scrumptious dads.
Someone report a fire, ma'am.
That'll make you laugh.
Couldn't believe a woman as beautiful as you would be with a guy like me. Thought you had to stay with me a month to win a bet.
It's Damon.
Coming, dear.
And George.
Hello, ladies.
Ladies' night gets a couple of delicious dads.
You just beat my baby, that's all.
My Wife and Kids and George Lopez. Wednesday starting at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Bottom of the fourth, the Cardinals just grabbed a 5-2 lead over Randy Johnson and the Arizona Diamondbacks that have stunned this crowd. And now the Arizona bats see if they can get to Matt Morris and get their big unit back in the game.
Well, I think the key for Matt right now is to get his ball club back in the dugout. You've got 8, 9, and 1 coming up. Have an easy 1, 2, 3 inning. You get right back to the heart of the order for St. Louis. You could blow this ball game out at this point. Not really overpowering. Not a lot of pitches thus far, but you can see the error leading to one of those runs.
Crowd tonight, very proud Papa. Morris, Matt's dad. Fouled off in Middletown, New York. Matt Morris played, of course, his college ball at Seton Hall, first-round pick at 95. These Redbirds came up and really impressed right away. A 12-9 season in 97 as we look at the catcher, Chad Moeller. And Morris gets the strikeout. Then had missed the whole season with Tommy John surgery in 99, and 2000 was kind of a just somewhat 3-3, but 22-8 last year, 17-9 this year. When he won 22 a year ago, was the first 20-game winner for the Cards since Bob Gibson in 1970.
Yeah, but Boomer, I think that just 3-3 in the year 2000 after the Tommy John surgery was a key to his development as far as getting healthy is concerned. He didn't start a game that year, and that was by design with Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa. They really monitored his innings. They made sure that when they got him up, they got him into a ball game. They knew he was going to be in that starting rotation once he was healthy. They just wanted to make sure he had plenty of time to be 100%. What a great move on their part.
So here's Randy trying to take his full hack, a 135 hitter this year. What was that now?
That was a guy just simply overthrowing a fastball. That's all it was. Here the count was 2-2. You definitely don't want to walk him, but you could just see Matt kind of bow up in the back.
Very quickly, 2 strikeouts. Of course, we have Albert Pujols for the Cards, and there's the pool. He almost hit it in the pool.
That looks like a fun place to be, Boomer. Have you ever thought about maybe spending some time there?
Well, the Swami might check that out tomorrow. During batting practice, I know I'll get peppered out there, but I might have to venture out to the pool. I don't know that America's ready to see me take a complete dive in there, but we'll have to see how tonight goes first and make it. That's what we call in the business a game time decision. Okay.
I know there's plenty of water for you to jump in. I saw him throw Charles Barkley in that pool.
Well, the water level goes up when I get in there. I might have to try that. I don't remember there being a pool at Fenway or Yankee Stadium. This is kind of new for me.
Well, I tell you what, this is the same old Matt Morris right now, though. He struck out the first 2 guys this inning, and he's got his sights on striking out the side.
It was the old kick save and a beauty by Mike Matheny.
I can't believe that the ball didn't hit Tony Womack.
I know.
Take a look at this. I mean, he's thinking fastball right there. That ball went between his legs.
Through the wickets.
How about Matheny, though? The ball, even going between his legs, didn't get by him.
With nobody on. Womack. Whoa, Renteria makes the catch. And so thus far, the Cards through 4 swim into a 5-2 lead here at the Bob.
Hey, go ahead. You've always got time for a Reese's Fast Break. Creamy Reese's peanut butter, nougat, covered in milk chocolate. Get lost in a Reese's Fast Break.
Was it July 4th, 1939, or September 6th, 1995? Was it this defining blast, or his dance of joy? Did you decide on perfection? Did you pick 61 or 62? Was it his catch, his first game, or April 8, 1974? What is the most memorable moment? Watch Game 4 of the World Series to find out.
Escape into a world where time drifts slowly. A world where the music sweeps you away. Introducing Pure Moods 4, an all-new collection from the best-selling Pure Moods series. Explore the pure emotion of 18 timeless songs. Pure Moods 4, the music series that won the hearts of millions. Use your credit card and get Romantic Moods free with your paid order. Pure ecstasy. Pure Moods. Experience what the rest of the world has already discovered. Pure enjoyment. Pure Moods 4 plus your free bonus album. Call now. To order Pure Moods plus your bonus album, call the number on your screen. Rush delivery available. Call now.
5-2 the Cardinals over the Diamondbacks, top of the 5th, and a reminder that here on ABC Family, the 13 Nights of Halloween beginning October the 19th. 13 nights of creepy movies, scariest places on earth dares, the extreme illusions of Chris Angel Mind Freak. 13 Nights of Halloween begin October 19th on ABC Family. I don't read, you know, I don't get to do
Chris Angel
Boris
Mind Break. Is that related to
Mind
Chris
Freak?
Berman's?
Mind Freak, maybe. This is different. I'm just disappointed I don't get to throw it to Gilligan's Island tonight here on ABC Family. I mean, you know, give me a show I can, you know, that F-Troop or something we'll do that Hogan's Heroes or something. Got to tell you, this is one of the 13 Nights of Halloween for Randy Johnson thus far, isn't it? I mean, it's been a harsher. You and I were looking at it. He's made what? 35 regular season starts, only 4 times, 5 or more runs, and then here's the 5th.
Boomer, just one time in his last 13 starts has he allowed more than 2 runs. Well, he allowed 3 in the last inning that he pitched to this ball club. You know what? There could have been more runs scored.
Absolutely. Jim Edmonds got the parade going with his 2-run homer in the first inning.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see more of those fastballs up and in either. They're just flat diving to the outside corner.
Full count now to Jimmy.
Look at the adjustment he's made. We talked about it earlier. Where's the glove at now? Remember, he started the game with it down at his waist. He feels like they're picking up his pitches.
Opposite way, past the glove of Matt Williams. Edmonds rounding and looking for extra bases, then thinks better of it, as up with it quickly as DeLucci. So Edmonds has hit a long home run and then goes the other way. And Jimmy is 3 for 3 tonight.
You see him stretching right there. He's got a problem with his hamstring. We take a look at Randy Johnson and how he's starting now. He just can't figure out why they're able to pick up his breaking ball, but they've got something on him. That's a decent breaking ball. Look at the glove of Chad Moeller. That ball would have hit the glove in the center of it on the outer half of the plate, but St. Louis Cardinals are right on top of that. They're not giving an inch and taking everything they can get.
8 hits for the Redbirds off Randy Johnson, 3 of them by Edmonds. And here's Pujols with a long triple into the deepest part of the park. 413. Rattled around that 413 sign on one hop. Scored when rolling on the next pitch. Hit a home run in the 4th. Very surprising developments here in Phoenix.
Figure every one of the hitters in this inning that was due up is going to see a fastball up and in. He turned Edmonds around pretty good. That time he wanted to come up and in even further than that to Pujols. Didn't get it there.
Into Pujols, and there's action already, which you never think there will be in the 5th inning of a Randy Johnson start. And there's Mike Fetters. Certainly fans know that face and that motion, and Bob Brenly is hoping he doesn't have to see that. No knock on Fetters. He's going to have to see it real soon. Swung on and missed by Pujols, who we should say, with his 34 homer, 127 RBI season following 37 and 130 when he was unanimous Rookie of the Year last year. The first guy ever to begin his career with 230 homers.
100 ribby, 300 average or better. And you get the picture.
How about this? Only one other rookie in his first year had a 300 average, a 400 on base percentage, and a 600 slugging percentage. That'd be a guy named Ted Williams. Tells you what Albert Pujols has done already in his career, just getting it started. He had a tough division series last year, though, Boomer, as you well know, against Arizona. Just 2 for 18, a 111 average in his first postseason experience. But one of those 2 hits was a 2-run homer in that game 2 against Randy Johnson in the first inning,
which beat Randy Johnson, won that game behind Woody Williams to tie the series at 1. And at that point, that was Johnson's 7th straight postseason loss. What's the matter with this guy? Well, he won 5 in a row after that.
He got it fixed, no question about it. The first 2 wins came against the Braves and Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine. But right now, he's got to command that fastball, and he's got to start throwing it for a strike on the inside part of the plate. Look at that. He missed with it again.
Well, there it is. I mean, he won the 2 and 1 in relief, that memorable 5th game against the Yankees, which Edgar had the extra inning base hit to score Griffey. But then lost 7 straight. Here's a chopper by Pujols. Williams stepping across in front of Womack across the diamond. Pujols is gone. I mean, you might as well just detail him. 2 wins against the Yankees a long time ago when he was a Mariner. But then got beat twice. And they got beat once by Cleveland in the ALCS. Dennis Martinez doing the job in Game 6. Lost twice to Mike Mussina in the '97 playoffs. '98 lost twice as a member of the Astros to San Diego. One was a duel against Kevin Brown. Lost once to start the series here in '99 to the Mets. And then lost that game we talked about last year when Pujols hit him with a home run. So what is going on? But the 2 wins you talked about, followed by the 3. 2 wins against Atlanta, followed by the 3 against the New York Yankees, including Game 6 and 7. And that losing streak is a distant memory until tonight. Rolling slow roller. Womack over to Grace. Edmonds over to third, 2 out.
And you know how he's gotten the last 2 outs, Boomer? With his 3rd best pitch. That's a split-fingered fastball he picked up last year when Bob Welch was the pitching coach. Look at that. Roland was expecting that ball, being an off-speed pitch, to have movement towards him, which the slider does. It's not the slider now. Those last 2 outs have come via that split-fingered fastball, a little off-speed pitch, some downward movement, keeping Randy Johnson in this game. How about this, huh?
Well, they're going to put on Renteria, his .372 batting average with runners in scoring position, the 2nd best in the league. So,
see, that's really the only change Tony La Russa made in his lineup tonight, was he flip-flopped Tino and Renteria. I would imagine tomorrow, in the next game on Thursday, he'll go back to having Tino hit 6 and Renteria 7. But he wanted to give Scott Rowland as much protection as possible. Well, he gave him some protection in that 4th inning when he hit that 2-run homer.
So up to the plate strides Tino Martinez in his 89th postseason game. 89 postseason games. Mariners 95, then to the Yankees in 96, and you know the rest of the story. That means every year, mostly World Series appearances. And I wonder in this series if we're going to see Tino bat ever against Yoon Kim. They have not faced each other in this regular season since, of course, that memorable home run that Tino hit in Game 4 in the Bronx last year. Runners at the corners, and Randy will look at the back runner, Renteria.
I really don't think Tony La Russa will send Renteria until he gets a better feel for this at bat with Tino. Tino's hit the ball hard a couple of times. One, he lined out to second. The other was a hard ground ball to second base.
And they had him played perfectly, because you can see as that's a strike to where Spivey is A, on the grass, and B, way around as if they expect Tino to pull it. And they've had him positioned perfectly thus far, Rick.
Both times.
And make that 3 times. Spivey is there, throws it over to Grace. Runners are stranded, and the score remains at 5-2. Heading to the bottom of the 5th. The heart of the Diamondbacks coming up.
When life throws you a tough pitch, that tests your staying power. It never hurts to have a deodorant with a little extra muscle.
New Arm & Hammer Ultramax Wetness Protection plus the pure power of baking soda. Time release for long-lasting odor protection.
Extra muscle for the game of life.
No one spoils me like Mom, but Olive Garden comes close with their never-ending pasta bowl. They make all these delicious homemade sauces, then you pick which ones you want with which pastas. You get all you want, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks for $7.95. Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
Plastic holds the promise of a better world, taking medicine to new heights and giving our lives greater comfort. It's in the packaging that protects us and a pacemaker to empower us, every day touching every generation. From the ambulance to the emergency room, it puts the answers in our hands and hope in our hearts. For a safer, more brilliant tomorrow, plastics make it possible.
For his reunion party, his old tux still fit, but his old dandruff shampoo wasn't tough enough for black. So I bought a maximum strength Selsun Blue. It's doctor recommended and works fast.
Hey man, you're looking great.
Never wear black without the blue. Selsun Blue.
ESPN's NFL Primetime. The whole day in football packed into one show.
Oh, that wacky AFC. And he gets in.
Chris Berman and Tom Jackson. All the scores, stats, and highlights.
He could go off the way.
Every game, every finish.
This is a ball club with great balance.
If you missed it, if you saw it, if you just gotta see it again.
And he makes the catch.
Wow. NFL Primetime, 7:30 Eastern, Sundays on ESPN.
Why do you think I'm dressed like this?
I think you're dressed like that because you assume that I have absolutely no say in what you wear.
It's a man's real midlife crisis. Teenage daughters.
You're not going to live with that juvenile delinquent Don Juan.
Well, why not?
Because he's a juvenile delinquent Don Juan.
I just want you to know I'd never take Lucy to a motel.
That's very reassuring.
I'll be ready to date in 4 years.
I have to go put my head through a wall.
Seventh Heaven. Weeknights at 7, 6 Central on ABC Family.
2-3-4 batters for Arizona. Junior Spivey swinging at the first pitch. Edgar Renteria up with this nicely across to Tino Martinez. 1 pitch, 1 down for Matt Morris. And Matt Morris and all the Cardinals with the DK and the 57 of their fallen teammate Darryl Kile, who was passed away on June the 22nd, and his wife Flynn.
Boomer, that was a huge lift from Matt Morris this afternoon when Flynn showed up at the team's hotel here in Phoenix. She and Darryl's agent, Barry Axelrod, flew over today because Flynn wanted to be there for Matt Morris. Matt was probably affected more than anybody in the Cardinal organization by the loss of Darryl. He was kind of a father figure to Matt. Matt said he lost 15 pounds when Darryl passed away. He lost the feel for his breaking ball, and you know what? He just lost his sense of importance for the game of baseball. It just didn't matter to him. He wasn't able to forget about that. Well, he never will forget about Darryl, but a lot of Darryl is out there in the mound with him tonight.
Finley a chop out to Tino Martinez, and of course everywhere the Cardinals go, Rick, as the Redbird fans know, Darryl Kile's locker is there. This is before the game here, and here is number 57. A couple of jerseys there. Tony La Russa had the red jersey in his locker when we met with him today. Very much a part of this team. And how about some of the things that they were talking about? And that Darryl's last win was the win that put them into first place, and they never left first place since that. Grace, whoa, that's a stumble. But Morris makes the play. And a 1-2-3 inning for Matt Morris. An impressive inning as the Cards lead 5-2.
Push the button.
Push the button. Push the button. I know this shit.
You could do it.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Come on, what are you afraid of?
I'm scared of commitment.
Oh.
It's not a commitment. It's 10-10-220.
Yeah, but don't I have to sign up first?
That's the beauty of 10-10-220. You don't have to sign up.
Oh, so I just dial it, then one, then the number.
Then it's 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes.
So I just dial it.
You just dial it.
Right now.
Right now.
Little privacy, please.
Oh, man.
Check, please.
Dial 10-10-220.
Turning raw metal into pure gold isn't easy, unless it's Chevy Truck Month with $500 bonus cash. Use bonus cash with 0% APR on any new 2003 Chevy truck in stock. Or add 500 bonus cash to increase cash back on 2003 Silverado, Avalanche, and Trailblazer. It's a new gold rush on dependable, long-lasting Chevy trucks. Stake your claim. 500 bonus cash ends October 31st at your local Chevy dealer.
Gehrig's farewell speech. Selfless. Robinson's rookie year. Fearless. Fisk's game winner. Timeless. Our pastime. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Devoted fan of Major League Baseball and its most memorable moments.
Could you spend the night on the world's largest ghost ship? Enter ABC Family's Unlock the Gate sweepstakes. You could win a chilling weekend in Los Angeles on board the Queen Mary and experience a VIP ghost hunt. Just tune in every night starting October 19th for the secret combination to unlock the gates. It's part of the 13 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family. Don't miss an all-new original special, Chris Angel Mind Freak. Premieres Sunday, October 20th. Part of the 13 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family.
The St. Louis Cardinals have quieted this crowd by unleashing 5 runs and 8 hits on the big unit Randy Johnson through 5 innings. And they and Matt Morris have a 5-2 lead. Looking to add to it as we begin play in the 6th with Matheny and Morris and Vigna. And rifled right away by Matheny down the line. DeLucci with a long run, and it'll be a stand-up double for Mike Matheny. And so the onslaught on Randy Johnson continues by the St. Louis Cardinals. Hit number 9.
I'll tell you what's happening right now, Boomer. We talked about how Randy Johnson started with his hands at his waist, and then all of a sudden after getting hit, he moved them up back to where he looked in over his glove. He's so worried right now that he's tipping his pitches that he's forgetting about making good quality pitches. A lot of those breaking balls, like the one there to Matheny, the same one that he threw to Scott Rowland, are just in the heart of the plate, and they're getting hit hard.
Certainly a little smile now, sees if he can get the bunt down.
He's got a lot to smile about.
Yes, he does.
He knows he's locked in.
He'll swing away.
The last 7 hitters that have come to home plate for Arizona have been easy outs for Matt because the command of that fastball is there, and he can go to the breaking ball anytime he wants. Looks like he's going to go to the bench here pretty shortly. He's just, you know, his heart's into this ball game and pitching for the Cardinals, but it's not really into getting that sacrifice punt down right. You know, his heart might be into it, but he's not getting his body.
Well, the bat, yeah, it's not into it yet. But everything else sure is. He's given up just 2 runs on 5 hits thus far. And he'll go out and it's a strikeout. Well, Matt Morris was very introspective about trying to pitch after the loss of his great friend Darryl Kile.
I'm sure there was a handful of guys that didn't want to go back in the locker room after some of the stuff we've been through, especially DK. And,
you know, and I was one of them, but, you know, I took my motivation from him personally, and I know he wouldn't want me moping around and sulking, and he'd be the first guy out on the mound being a professional and trying to separate work from personal life. And it was tough for everybody, but in the long run or down the line in the playoffs, when the game's tight, I think our team's going to be a little tougher than some of the other teams.
Well, and the reason for that is the fact that there's a lot of Darryl Kile still left with that ball club. As we look at Flynn, his wife, also 3 children left behind. I mean, when you hear Matt Morris talk after a victory, I mean, he always talks about the team. He never talks about himself. He's always giving credit to the guys on the field. He might throw a perfect game, and he's going to talk about the plays they made and the runs that they scored. You know where that came from? That came from Darryl Kile. He was always like that. They might be able to come up with a pitcher to replace Darryl Kile of that caliber. Replacing that person is going to be tough.
Two and one the count on Vigna. Tony also pointing out that Kyle win was oddly enough the day that last win for Darryl was the day that Jack Buck passed away with the team. And there's a base hit by Vigna that's going to plunk in. Matheny being held up by third base coach Jose Oquendo, and wisely so. They're runners at the corners. One other note is that they won 57 games. Darryl's number after that point. After the Heat pitched him into first place, he goes, you know, Tony goes, I don't, this is not making stuff up. Just another proof that Darryl is with us this whole year and beyond. A day-night doubleheader they had to play on August 31st as a result of that canceled game at Wrigley that Saturday.
That's when they made it up, yeah.
Right, and they had to bring more pitchers to just get through that day-night doubleheader, and it allowed him, because that was August 31st and not September 1st, he's chosen a larger pitching staff in the postseason roster, and he would not have been able to do that, but he had extra pitchers on the staff August 31st because of the makeup game, because of the game that was missed for Darryl Kile. So again, he pointed it out. You know, Darryl with us, and look at this. To deep center we go, as Eli Marrero sac fly will bring home Matheny, and the Cardinals have hung a 6-spot on Randy Johnson.
They're few and far between, Boomer, but this is just one of those nights for Randy Johnson. I'm not taking any credit away from the offense of St. Louis. They're terrific, but take a look at the pitches. Everything's elevated, no command of the fastball tonight, and I think just total confusion right now on his mechanics, thinking that the St. Louis Cardinals have picked something up as far as his delivery is concerned.
Even though he lost 7 straight postseason games, some were pitched brilliantly. So tonight we've seen him give up more hits than he has in any postseason start. He did one thing there, retired Jim Edmonds for the first time tonight, but St. Louis with another run leads it 6-2.
Next time you're on the road and you need to fill your tank, here's something to consider. New Shell gasoline is specially formulated to help prevent deposit buildup in your engine, which helps keep it clean. And a clean engine performs better, which is why when they're looking for more from their gasoline, so many drivers choose Shell.
A historic world music event, the legendary Tito Puente in one of his final performances. Multi-platinum salsa star Jose Alberto El Canario together in Viva la Música. It's the ultimate Latin dance party with Sergio Vargas, Nili Quesada, Tony Vega, and more. Viva la Música on direct ticket pay-per-view. Be sure to order and get the party started.
Order any pay-per-view movie on Tuesdays in October for only $2.99 per title.
Something draws near. I can feel it.
Experience the Academy Award-winning epic that took the world by storm.
The ring must be destroyed. They are coming.
The legend comes to life in The Lord of the Rings.
an all-new original special, Chris Angel Mind Freak, premieres Sunday, October 20th, part of the 13 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family.
Bottom of the sixth, the Diamondbacks have their work cut out for them, trailing 6-2, and the Cardinals are paying attention to what's going on the field and maybe what's being set up here. Sounds of the game.
Well, he started down here, and then he went up to here, and Sutcliffe was talking about it on the upstairs. They showed his delivery because he was starting down here, but
you get to this point, terrific regular season, another Cy Young award in just about everybody's opinion. Mechanically, he'd have things figured out, but he had to make an adjustment in the fourth inning because of what was going on. He feels like he's tipping his pitches, and because of that, he's trying all kinds of different things and just not making good pitches.
You're right. I mean, he's on line to perhaps win his fourth straight Cy Young award, so 4 in a row with Arizona, which would be 5 overall. But yet, even the Cy Youngs and the great pitchers, what is the line in the song? Sometimes you're the Louisville Slugger, and sometimes you're the ball. And in the case of Randy Johnson tonight, the Louisville Slugger has hit the ball. Matt Williams trying to start a Diamondback uprising, if you will. Tuning in late, Jim Edmonds, a 2-run homer in the first inning off Randy Johnson setting the tone. 2-run homer by Rowland in the fourth. Speaking of Scott Rowland, makes a nice play to retire his fellow third baseman, Matt Williams.
We'll just take a look here. There's the first inning. All right, where's the glove at? He's starting to throw a pitch right now. He's got it just simply sitting on his belt, as Matt Morris does, before he starts to throw a pitch as he's looking for the sign. Randy made that adjustment in the fourth inning, thinking that they were picking something up. But I honestly feel like when Randy goes back and looks at the tape, he's going to simply see that the breaking ball just wasn't there. It was in the heart of the plate a lot, and he couldn't get that fastball in. The velocity was all there. His stuff was good. It's just his command was not as good as it has been.
Quentin McCracken trying to drag bunt it, but doesn't do a good job of it, and Matt Morris will make the play, and there's 2 down here in the Redbird in the Arizona 6. Carl Ravitch in the studio.
Boomer earlier today, a couple of division winners, Twins and A's. Game 1 goes Minnesota's way. Good offense, and the bullpen was outstanding.
Well, they started out very difficult, looked like the bad news Bears. As Corey Hunter said, they got their head out and got the winner.
7-5, Twins take care of game 1. Corey Koski, 1 for 5, but he had a home run. Boom.
All right, guys, thank you. So how about that? The Twins go into Oakland and win game 1. The Cardinals thus far go into Arizona and are leading Randy Johnson 6-2. The Angels had a lead in the 8th at Yankee Stadium. Didn't hold it, but
that Minnesota thing's a great story.
How about the Ron Gardenhire, right? The whole team was tight the first few innings, and he's laughing. Not laughing like funny, but just, okay, it's all right, we'll be okay. And maybe that's all they needed to see, that his manager was not uptight, and the Twins played accordingly.
Oakland's not in any trouble by any means. That series is a long ways from over when you got Mulder and Zito coming up in games 2 and 3. But you know what? I looked at Minnesota wondering what they would come out into the postseason like. They really haven't played an important game for a long time.
Diving is Vigna, and then can't grab the ball. So DeLucci will be aboard. A tough play for Vigna. And this will be the first base runner since the 3rd inning for Arizona.
Yeah, but take a look at it. It's just simply a ground ball that was hit fairly hard. It found a hole. And you know what, Boomer, that's tough to do with this infield defense. They are so quick. They have so much range. Their knowledge as far as how to position themselves to begin with is excellent. And they're going to win a lot of games in this postseason just by what they do defensively all over that diamond.
So this is Chad Moeller with a fly ball to right field. Easy play for Eli Marrero. DeLucci is stranded, and we have played 6. Matt Morris cruising along with a 6-2 lead. the 7th, the Cards have a 6-2 lead, but they may have an injured second baseman as Vigna rolled over on his wrist trying to make that play on DeLucci.
Well, look at it right here. Take a look at that left wrist and what happens there. When he came up, he immediately started looking at it as if there was a problem. That's an even better angle there, guys. Great shot there. Look at that. Even though he knows his wrist is hurting him, he's trying to find a baseball, get the out recorded, and then I'll tend to myself physically.
Double switch by Bob Brenly. Matt Manti is in, and that's a night for Randy Johnson. He'll hit in the 8-hole. Rod Barajas will hit in the 9-hole and will lead off the next inning. He's the new catcher. Manti, a guy in a couple of years, has had some arm difficulties. Has had plenty of them. Came up really throwing hard. There's Barajas, one of 3 catchers on the roster by former catcher Bob Brenly. Manti has really worked hard to just get back to any form at all.
Well, a lot like Matt Morris, the Tommy John surgery. It seems like, Boomer, they're coming back even better than what they were before they got hurt. And I've talked with Tommy John about this, and he explains it that, you know, the tendon doesn't get any stronger. The elbow doesn't get any stronger. What happens is they start taking better care of themselves. They put more attention into the little drills that you do to strengthen the whole arm, better physical condition, better pitching.
Manti has come right in and has walked Albert Pujols. Our Reese's pitching summary. We get Reese's Pieces up here just as a result of putting this on the screen. And here, 6 singles. All hits allowed by Moore are 6 singles. And for Randy Johnson, just a line that you would not have expected tonight. I mean, there's no other way to put it than that. 2 homers, a triple.
You know what, Boomer? Just like they've done here off of Manti in the top of the 7th, 4 out of those 6 innings off Randy Johnson, the Cardinals got the leadoff guy on base. I think to begin with, Fernando Vigna set the tone. Even though it was an error on the part of Womack, he got on base and made things happen.
And that Edmonds 2-run homer in the first inning. We'll see how far it goes. I know momentum. We got a long way to go in this game, and momentum is as good as tomorrow's, or in this case, Thursday's pitcher. But just file away. 2-run homer by Edmonds in the first, and see where we go with that.
I'll tell you how far I went. About 425 feet.
Yeah, it did.
It wasn't a cheap one.
Well, his home run and Scott Rowland's home run and Albert Pujols' triple, all blasts. Skied by Rowland, raced along the first baseline, makes the play in foul ground. And there was one out. Rowland just is so excited to play ball in St. Louis. And of course, he has a new contract to show for it. A very long-term contract. Chris Berman, Rick Sutcliffe with you here. It's a 6-2 St. Louis lead in the 7th. They have knocked out Randy Johnson. But Rowland was, and remember how he started with the Cardinals? He was like 0 for 20 or 2 for 32, and they never booed. He said his first home game, and that was, remember, he began on the road, and first home game, he goes, his mom was in the stands crying. He was almost like in tears, coming up with such a huge ovation. And he says, I haven't done anything yet for this team. But they were just excited to see a third baseman who was an old-time player. And I don't think you can get any more complimentary than that, right? An old-time baseball player.
Well, he's a long-time Cardinal fan.
Yeah.
Growing up there nearby.
Indiana, just a 3-hour car ride from St. Louis, he told me. It's closer than I thought.
Loved the Cardinals since he was 7 years old. And now, I'm sure a dream coming true for him. You know, they responded to Rowland the exact same way they did to Tino Martinez. Tino off to a horrible start to begin with. They didn't hold that against him. They didn't hold it against him that he was replacing Mark McGwire. You know, they just simply continued to encourage him, and you know, because of that, he probably was able to come back a little sooner than he would have. And overall, a decent year for Tino. Great year for Scott Rowland.
Renteria just smacks this ball off Manti to center field. The onslaught continues. Pujols to second base. So 2 on again here for St. Louis in the 7th. They have knocked out Randy Johnson. Zeke, Greg Swindell is up throwing. But how about this team now? Chest out a little farther. You've knocked out the big unit. You've done it impressively. You've done it with all spots in the lineup. And You did it right from the get-go.
No, not to me. No chest out. You know what? You still got to beat Randy Johnson one more time or beat Curt Schilling once to win this thing.
Well, Manti with a 3-batter, not impressive relief performance. Swindell coming in to face Tino Martinez. We'll be back.
Healthy Choice introduces everything you love about a grilled meal without the grill. New Healthy Choice mixed grills. Tender chunks of grilled chicken with seared-in flavor, tangy barbecue dipping sauce, and crisp vegetables. A delicious way to eat healthy. Real food and plenty of it.
Just the way I like it. Grilled.
6 new mixed grills from Healthy Choice.
Turning raw metal into pure gold isn't easy, unless it's Chevy Truck Month with $500 bonus cash. Use bonus cash with 0% APR on any new 2003 Chevy truck in stock. Or add 500 bonus cash to increase cash back on 2003 Silverado, Avalanche, and Trailblazer. It's a new gold rush on dependable, long-lasting Chevy trucks. Stake your claim. 500 bonus cash ends October 31st at your local Chevy dealer.
Have you thought about changing your long-distance company?
I'm always calling my family back home, so I switched to AT&T for their new unlimited plan.
All the stuff you read, you want a company you can still trust.
And look, AT&T's always been there, always reliable.
I decided to switch back to AT&T, and they were really good about finding the right plan for me.
They even switched me for free.
Call 1-800-PICK-ATT today and switch to AT&T. Whether you want a low rate per minute, no monthly fee, or the freedom of unlimited long distance, AT&T has exactly what you need. Even great local service.
AT&T also gave me an international plan and hassle-free internet access. Hey, I'm there.
There's absolutely no risk. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll switch you back for free.
That's why I switched back.
There's never been a better time to sign up for AT&T, because what you want is right here, right now. So call 1-800-PICK-ATT today.
Change my long-distance company. Nah, not now. Not ever. I've got AT&T.
ESPN's NFL Primetime.
Oh, that wacky AFC.
Chris Berman and Tom Jackson.
Gets in.
The whole day in football packed into one show. Wow. NFL Primetime, 7:30 Eastern, Sundays on ESPN.
Chris Berman, Rick Sutcliffe back here in Arizona, where the Diamondbacks have seen their ace and probable Cy Young Award winner. Again, Randy Johnson. Dispensed with in 6 innings. This is the second pitcher now of the 7th inning. Manti faced 3, gave up a walk and a single, and now it'll be Greg Swindell, the veteran, to face another veteran, Tino Martinez. One more thought. You were talking about Tino, and we'll talk about Zeke Swindell in a moment. Replacing McGuire and everything. Yeah. But I don't know how you prepare for that, but he did by replacing Don Mattingly in New York. I mean, and it worked, didn't it?
Sure did. You know, Tino's one of those guys that his offensive numbers, even though that they were real good as a Yankee. I mean, you stop and think for Tino and the 6 years that he was there, he averaged 29 homers and 115 RBIs. Well, you know, I mean, Mattingly did some more spectacular offensive things. We know Mark McGuire did things that nobody else had ever done during his time. But there are intangibles with Tino that Joe Torre has talked about, where problems would come up in their clubhouse and Tino would solve them before they ever got to the manager's office. He was one of those guys. You know, David Cohn and Chili Davis, Joe Girardi were some of the others. Well, how about what he has done and meant to the clubhouse for St. Louis this year?
Well, and his presence still felt in the Yankee clubhouse. I know he was in touch with some of the Yankees today, wishing them luck and they wishing him luck. And now with the base on balls, the sacks are full of Cardinals for Mike Matheny, who has reached all 3 times tonight out of the 8-hole. A walk, a single, which drove in a run in the 4th, and a double in which he scored in the 6th. Mike Fetters back up throwing in the pen, and the Cards have a chance to bust this thing wide open. blocked by Barajas.
Yeah, you might wonder why, with a right-handed hitter up, wouldn't Bob Brenly go get the right-handed reliever? Fetters is obviously ready to go. I'll tell you why. There's a guy on the bench named J.D. Drew that could have pinched hit there with the right-hander coming in. Boy, how many great blocks have we seen tonight by all three catchers on balls in the dirt that have been in the game tonight.
And look at this, the Cards playing small ball, and this throw goes down the line. 1 run is home, 2 runs score. The bottom falling out for the Diamondbacks. It's 8-2.
Boomer, myself included. Mike Matheny just caught everybody by surprise. Matt Williams was playing deep. It was a perfectly executed bunt. Swindell tried to make the absolute perfect play. He couldn't do it. Take a look at that. Great base running on the part of the Cardinals. Look at Pujols off and running when he first saw the ball go down. It looked like Matheny would have beaten the throw anyway had it been on target. Good effort here, but look at what happens. Another fielding mistake on the part of Arizona. Something you really didn't expect out of him. They were the #1 defense in the National League last year and the top 5 this year, and yet already a couple of errors.
And it kick save and a beauty by Barajas on what looked like a cross-up of a major degree. By the way, the scoring on the last one, the sacrifice, I actually thought it was a hit, but sack, RBI, and an error to the pitcher.
Look at that. I mean, this. They don't. There's a man on second base, so there has to be a sequence of signs. Now, Swindell's been on the disabled list off and on this year. He's had back problems. He's received shots to try to alleviate some of the pain. He thought that sign was for a fastball away when Rod Barajas had signaled for the pitch out. A great skate save on the part of Arizona's catcher. I think Tony Russa has seen enough of Matt Morris trying to bunt tonight. I wouldn't have looked for the squeeze. I mean, in the one at bat where he got the swing away, I mean, he hit a ball fairly deep to right field.
The way it's been going, if he swings, you know, it'll be a blooper that might just plunk in for 2 more runs. 8-2 in a game started by Randy Johnson.
I tell you one thing that kind of surprises me, though. I mean, with it already 8-2, the infield being in, you got 1 out, you play it double play depth, you get the ground ball in the inning. By bringing him in like this, you're going to come to home plate, probably not get that double play on a ground ball. I mean, you open up an opportunity even for one of those bloopers, as you said, Boomer, to get through and more damage to be done.
Well, that's the last thing. Maybe they want him to bunt again if he's going to foul it off his foot. Right? That's not what they had in mind with the free swing side. Oh, boy. 2-2 the count to Morris. And look at this. Here's another base hit. Martinez is going to score. Matheny's going to score. Morris has done it all. It's 10-2 Cardinals.
I tell you what, Boomer, it's not a fluke that in the last 2 years Matt Morris has won 39 ball games. Look at that. Dad going, all right, I know you can pitch, son,
right,
but you are I'm startled at the fact you're swinging the bat that well.
In the meantime, the Arizona bullpen has come in and has just, oh sure, why not? They've come in and laid an egg the size of Horton Hears a Who. Just a stunner. 10 runs, 12 hits. And there you go. There's a first for Matt Morris, and he himself has given up just 6 hits, all of them singles. And a derisive cheer for a strike. And then I know it's late back east. I know it's late, but wake up.
No. Somebody just called him and said you're on TV.
Okay.
Don't pick your nose.
Right. Vina swings through it.
You know, this has to be. Bob Brenly's not concerned, you know, about Randy Johns. Let's take a look at this hit right here. One of the things St. Louis has always done well is run the bases well. Look at it. He thought of second. What Dave McKay think? Big boy. We got an 8-run lead. Jim Edmonds appreciating the fact that not only he got a hit, but the first base coach did his job by making the decision to stay there.
Well, I know that it's late even in the Central Time Zone. All right, but you know how many of those central states are Redbird country. I mean, 12, 13 states, really. There are tons of Cardinal fans, only starting with Missouri. And look at Vina. Spray one the opposite way. Morris to second. Man, oh man, it's a waterfall here. I think the pool has sprung a leak out there in right center.
Tell you what, Bob Brenly sprinted out to the mound. He is not happy. He's not been happy with his bullpen the last couple of weeks.
Mike Fetters will try to quell the Cardinals. 10-2 St. Louis.
Miss an all-new original special, Chris Angel Mind Freak, premieres Sunday, October 20th, part of the 13 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family.
In a world of superhumans, fierce battles have raged and many have fallen. Now the best remain, but only one can wear the ring. Who will lead his team to victory? Will it be Bonds, Chipper, Gloss, Giambi, Hunter, or Johnson? Watch the Major League Baseball postseason on ABC Family. The world will be watching. Will you?
Is your child protected?
NHL Center Ice from DirecTV. Catch up to 40 games a week for just $139.
Looking for this week's top choices in premium movies and sports? Take a shortcut. Turn to DirecTV Movies this week and DirecTV Sports this week for the week's hottest premium movies. And the inside scoop on your favorite sports action. Watch DirecTV Movies this week and DirecTV Sports this week on channels 212 and 500. Oh, yeah! Don't miss the best in movies and sports from DirecTV.
And Swindell both walked the first guy that they came in to face here in the top of the 7th inning. I mean, it was still a ball game at 6-2 with 3 innings for Arizona's offense to go to work on until this happened.
And Marrero, of all the left, the long run for DeLucci. He's got time. And there's 2 outs. And Edmonds to come up.
I know that a lot of that offense came for Arizona from Luis Gonzalez, but still, they were the only team in the National League, Boomer, to score over 800 runs this year. So collectively, they were getting things done. Who's not been getting it done and is going to make it real difficult for Bob Brenly to sleep tonight has been his bullpen. Fetters has struggled the last couple of weeks. Mike Koplov has struggled. Myers has been a little inconsistent, although overall a big year for him. And we know what happened to their closer, Young Kim, in the playoffs last year.
Middle relief ERA for the Diamondbacks, the highest in the league, 5.88. You think that one of the real strengths, and a strength of the Cardinals not talked about, is their bullpen.
Paul Jacoby did a tremendous job. You're going to hear about Scott Rowland and him picking up Chuck Finley, Game 2 starter. But along with that was Rick Wright and Jeff Facero. A couple of guys that struggled with their former teams have come over here and been terrific for Tony La Russa. You throw that in with Isringhausen, who seems to be healthy now. Steve Klein, who's always down there. They're in pretty good shape.
Absolutely. Well, they're in good shape tonight at 10-2. Day off tomorrow. Curt Schilling will pitch for Arizona, Game 2 against Chuck Finley. Then day off Friday. Game 3 St. Louis Saturday. Andy Bennis goes for St. Louis against Miguel Batista, who impressed in the World Series certainly last year. Go for Arizona. If there is a Game 4, Randy Johnson will come back. It'll be Game 4 in St. Louis. And how will that crowd be? Well, Fetters has now walked Edmonds, and the Cards have now batted around. Rick Helling, who was bypassed as the third starter in this series, working out of the pen for this series. The pride of North Dakota. And we're just talking about all those states. I know, like I say, it's what is it, 10, 12, 20 Cardinal fans in Missouri and Arkansas and Illinois and Nebraska and parts of Kansas and Kentucky and parts, and certainly Tennessee and Louisiana and Mississippi, and I think Alabama has big Cardinal rooters. And up until when the Rangers, is still probably a holdout part in the eastern part of Texas and Oklahoma. There are probably the most states of rabid fans, any team, the St. Louis Cardinals. Partly because of where they are. They were like the Western team way back when, right? The Western team once upon a time in St. Louis. The strength of KMOX, where they reached all these places. People drive 12, 13 hours from New Orleans. People in New Orleans, rabid Cardinal fans. You know that. You pitched some there.
And you know the best part about those fans, they show up.
Oh, yeah.
They show up at that ballpark.
Well, here's a little blooper. Jumping in front of DeLucci. Here's another run home. The onslaught continues as Pujols comes through, and it's, well, we're getting close to 2-touchdown territory, aren't we now? 12-2. And now they're starting to stream out here. Look, the fact that the Cardinals could come in and beat Randy Johnson, certainly a possibility. Like this, sure. I know this is the bullpen here. This is a major baseball news event.
You know what? Don't blame Randy Johnson and his bullpen. This offense is this good. I mean, there's just no breathing room. You cannot make a mistake, or it's going to end up a souvenir somewhere. Power from top to bottom, 1 through 7. Boomer reminds me of the same lineup that Arizona had last year.
Rolling up for the second time this series. As the 11th batter is up, and it's 0-2. Randy Johnson allowed 6 runs. The bullpen here and we're not done with 1 inning, has allowed 6 runs. The dirty dozen tonight, laid by the Cardinals onto the Diamondbacks. Divisional Series haven't been around that long, so these records don't certainly mean as much as a World Series record or any postseason record would, but still, things started in '95. And too many innings like this in this round of the playoffs.
You know, I don't mean this in any way against Arizona, but it's nice to see these St. Louis Cardinals having something to smile about. It's been a year, I think everybody has had their heart go out to Tony La Russa and his team and the front office. And just the whole system over there. And, you know, Boomer, we both tip our hats to them for the class that they have handled things with. I'll never forget when they had the services for Dale at Busch Stadium, and Flynn Kyle was back there, and services were over. She walked out, and I don't know if there was 10,000 or 100,000 there, but it was an ovation that I'll never, ever forget. And Flynn just kind of, you know, her and Darryl had always talked. Darryl always asked her, do you think they really like me? Do my teammates really respect me? Well, it was like as she got to home plate and heard that ovation, she looked up into the sky and said, there's your answer, Darryl.
Thrown on to first, and mercifully for Arizona, this 7th inning is over. Not much to stretch about because the Diamondbacks are down 12-2.
Tried Rolaids lately? It's fruity, smooth, with a taste tests prove Tums can't beat. And extra strength Rolaids quickly neutralizes 21% more acid than Tums EX. Rolaids spells fast relief with a taste that can't be beat.
When life throws you a tough pitch that tests your staying power, it never hurts to have a deodorant with a little extra muscle.
New Arm & Hammer Ultramax Wetness Protection plus the pure power of baking soda. Time release for long-lasting odor protection.
Extra muscle for the game of life.
If you want the benefits of refinancing, you have no choice but to stress over a long application, right? Wrong. AmeriQuest Mortgage gives you a choice and a personal loan advisor to handle just about everything. With 2 decades of experience, AmeriQuest knows how to offer you the no-stress home loan. The time is right, so call AmeriQuest now at 1-800-273-9106 or go to yourmore.com. Call AmeriQuest, the company that knows you are more.
Old Navy painter's pants are one of a kind.
A better price you'd be hard-pressed to find.
Quality construction, that's our guarantee.
Old Navy painters.
You're the pants for me.
The price
is nice.
He'll wear
this pair.
Wow, they're just $15 to $20 for men and boys.
Old Navy, we are there.
Plastic is anything we ask it to be. On the job, it's our helping hand. For safety's sake in our working lives and forever evolving before our eyes. It's in the airbag that protects us and a cell phone to connect us. An answer when we need it most. Plastic carries our hopes, letting us all look forward to a safer, more brilliant tomorrow. Plastics make it possible.
It's a man's real midlife crisis. Teenage daughters.
I want you to know I'd never take Lucy to a motel. That's very reassuring.
I'll be ready to date in 4 years.
I have to go put my head through a wall.
Seventh Heaven, weeknights at 7, 6 Central on ABC Family.
Bottom of the 7th, and the Cards have this one seemingly in hand. 12-2 over the Diamondbacks, as Matt Morris has just allowed his 6 singles, and boy, last year he pitched it possibly even better. In Game 1 last year, Matt Morris pitched 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, just gave up 1 run, struck out 6 Diamondbacks, but it was a single to Steve Finley in the 5th. Then he lost 1-0 in Game 1 to Curt Schilling. He then, of course, came back in Game 5, pitched 8 innings of 1 run, 7-hit ball, giving up a homer to Reggie Sanders. J.D. Drew trying to tie in the game, and then Curt Schilling and the Diamondbacks winning in the bottom of the 9th, 2-1. But this time, you give me 12 runs, and I can give you this, Sut.
I'll tell you what, Boomer, they also gave him a couple of base running mistakes. One on the part we saw Junior Spivey didn't get a good jump on the base hit by Matt Williams. Could have scored, got thrown out. That could have been a big inning in the first. And also in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Spivey was called out at first. When we saw the replay, he was actually clearly safe. That could have been an even bigger inning because Finley followed that with a walk, Grace walk. You don't know what might have happened. You do know what has happened since then, though. Matt Morris has been unhittable.
Well, there it is. I mean, the Diamondbacks have seen enough of him. And by the way, if we go 4, they'll see him again. 3 starts. He's about to get a win, you would think. Fans trying to stay in it, but now I just think it's, well, we're at the ballpark. It's a school night. We're out, so why not go for it, right? Chris the Donalds is the pinch hitter. As at this point, Bob Brenly might as well just empty the bench and let everybody get in there.
You want to give everybody some swings. You'd like to give your guys down a bullpen an opportunity to work some of the kinks out. We've already seen 3 guys out of that bullpen there in just the top of the 7th. There's more to come. I don't think we'll see Mark Grace tonight, though. That's just a guess.
Pitching?
Yeah.
Well, he can pitch. Finley can pitch. You're here to give him advice. You were unbelievable. Did you get like a slight share as a pitching coach? I mean, a little postseason bonus?
Well, I called his pitches.
There's Donalds hitting one to right. And right there is Marrero, and he grabs it. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and description to this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Right now, the end draws near. The quest to win the World Series ring is on. Time to watch Major League Baseball right now, and don't miss postseason action right here on ABC Family. You know, at 23 years at ESPN, it's my debut on a new network, Chuck. Tony Womack with the base hit. So ABC Family, you're on ABC Family. We're pleased to bring postseason action here. We are family, I guess. I mean, I don't want to start singing Sister Sledge, or maybe all in the family. I've been referred to as the meathead in the past, although.
Man, I saw your singing debut on the stage with Huey Lewis.
I've done that a little bit.
I was impressed.
I can sing. I don't think the people want to hear that right now.
I know one thing, the bats for these St. Louis Cardinals have been singing, and they're going to leave this ballpark they gained a lot of confidence down the stretch. I mean, they held off Houston. They had some big series. They continued to win. But you know what? These are the world champs, Arizona Diamondbacks. They've still got Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling doing some things that, they're going to have to beat them again before this series is over. But the biggest thing is St. Louis has not beaten Arizona yet. They remember what happened last year. There's a lot of baseball left.
Ivy with a slow chopper. Renteria, just the point now is to get some outs. Then we have a day off tomorrow, and then we're the first game on Thursday afternoon. 1 out here in the west, 10 in the morning in Hawaii, and 4 in the east. And we should say, for the all-important Central Time, certainly with the Cardinals playing, 3 o'clock Central. Chuck Huckleberry Finley will go for St. Louis against Curt Schilling. That's a St. Louis mark coming over for Cleveland. And pitching a little better with St. Louis. And Schilling, although he certainly has welcomes the burden of trying to stop a losing streak, if you will. Now, well, and anything in a best of 5 is a must-win, but this is a must. And there's the lanky lefty, Chuck Finley, behind David McKay, sitting down there.
Everybody on the infield wanted that.
Vigna's got it. Finley gone. We've played 7. Now it is ABC Family. Why not bring the family out to the park?
You're watching the MLB Divisional Playoffs on ABC Family.
What are you trying to do to me with this?
But I like this song.
Nah, come on, get my CD case.
very proud of my lawn.
We enjoy it as much as he does.
Our neighbor usually asks me what I use, and I tell him. You know, I use Scott's Winterizer.
He really cares.
When you apply it in the fall, the food actually enters the root system. It stores it over the winter, and then in the spring, it perks that grass right up. It explodes, basically. Obviously, it's a critical step.
He's tried other products, too.
It just didn't work out. Scott's Winterizer gives me the last green lawn in the fall and the first green lawn in the spring.
Hey, go ahead. You've always got time for a Reese's Fast Break. Creamy Reese's peanut butter, nougat, covered in milk chocolate. Get lost in a Reese's Fast Break.
And this is more than just a hug. I mean, this is, yes, game one, 12-2. His job is done, but meeting, an emotional meeting as you described with Lynn Kile, closest to him, and probably Dave Veers you mentioned, and actually Jamie Wright that came over was very close to Kyle in Colorado when they were together. And those are, this is more than just, hey, a hug and job well done tonight for Matt Morris. This is a team that I have a theory, Sut. And we talked to Tony about it before the game. And I don't mean to describe it like this. I'm trying to look for the right words. Is after everything happened, that they got their sea legs. I mean, you know, we began early September. They were just 4 up on Houston. And this is a team that if they win this, it will now be 22-4 since the 3rd of September. It was almost as if, you know, 2 months, 9 weeks, that sort of thing. And now, you know what? Let's go for it. The shock will never wear off, but it was as if, look where we still are, and now let's go. And what was it, the one game that they won? Did you do that game when they came from way back against the Cubs? Rennery hit the homer. And it was described as the Cardinals were, for the first time, like really enjoying it. They won, but how could you shake the loss of your beloved teammate? But that was a win in late July that it was, okay, now it's okay to like win and enjoy winning. And let's do it for him. And then they went in that cold streak for about a week in August. But since the beginning of September, this has been a team that now is all right. But you agree with that theory a little bit?
You know, yeah, I do. I couldn't help but, you know, I've been that starting pitcher a lot of times coming out of a ball game, and as we look at Renneria and flying out to Steve Finley in center field, Boomer, I've been that guy, and it's just a handshake moment, maybe a pat on the back. It doesn't involve men hugging each other. But this team has been through things that I don't know of another team that has had to go through during the course of a baseball season. It started the day one in spring training for Tony La Russa. We look at Flynn Kyle now and all of the family members around, and you know, her second family, which was the wives of the St. Louis Cardinals. You know, the Matt Morris family and Robin Veers and all the people that have been there for her and will continue to be there for her and the children. But it started day one of spring training. There was no Mark McGwire, you know, and then Rick Ankiel had his problems. Take a look at Tino now. Pops up down the line. Somebody will get there. There's DeLucci. And then all of a sudden, you know, now Rick Ankiel has his problems, and Woody Williams gets hurt. And then for Tony La Russa, he loses his own father. And then he lost a father figure in Jack Buck. You know, a guy that he depended on a lot. And you know what, things just kept getting worse. Now Darryl Kile, and you know, it's just like you wondered how much could that man and that team take? Well, they're showing you a lot about what they're made of. And I tell you what, we've learned a lot about Tony La Russa.
Well, we are seeing a team that whose heart cannot be overestimated. Matheny grounds out. A 1-2-3 inning for Rick Helling. And Tony La Russa's squad closing in on a Game 1 win.
Turning raw metal into pure gold isn't easy, unless it's Chevy Truck Month with $500 bonus cash. Use bonus cash with 0% APR on any new 2003 Chevy truck in stock. Or add 500 bonus cash to increase cash back on 2003 Silverado, Avalanche, and Trailblazer. It's a new gold rush on dependable, long-lasting Chevy trucks. Stake your claim. 500 bonus cash ends October 31st at your local Chevy dealer.
Share your day. Share your laughs. Share more time together with the whole family this fall with Verizon Wireless. Sign up now on the America's Choice National Family Share Plan and get unlimited nights and weekends to share on up to 4 separate lines. Hurry in and get extra anytime mobile-to-mobile minutes. And buy one Kia Ceira phone for $49.99 and get a second free. So now there's no limit to how much you can share with all your loved ones. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Carrier's Weathermaker Infinity is the world's most totally efficient gas furnace. With our exclusive Comfort Heat technology, it can save you up to 40% on your home heating costs. Carrier, 100 years of innovation.
For his reunion party, his old tux still fit, but his old dandruff shampoo couldn't handle black, so I bought him Selsun Blue moisturizing shampoo. Doctor recommended with aloe moisturizers for healthy hair and scalp.
Hey man, you're looking great.
Never wear black without the blue. Selsun Blue.
There's a place where I get my favorite Italian sauces, with all kinds of pastas, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks. Sounds like Mom's house, but it's Olive Garden and their never-ending pasta bowl for $7.95. Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
Easy Twist by Easy Clip. Also available with a magnetic sun clip at your local eye care professional.
12-2, bottom of the 8th inning. The Cards all over the Diamondbacks. Our sounds of the game continue with Cards pitcher Andy Bennett.
Way to go, dude. He stood tall. Way to go. Boomer, many times I heard Darryl Kile say you have to stand tall. And that's what Andy Bennett meant right there to Matt Morris. You know, it's been tough for him to stand up at all, let alone stand tall. And he was able to put that together tonight. And, you know, with Flynn Kyle here, I'm a big Cardinal fan tonight.
I think most everybody is. No disrespect to the Diamondbacks, but this is a wonderful story and apparently a wonderful team.
And we've been reminded there are things a lot more important in baseball. It's just a game. I just, you know, I think of the Cardinals and a little bit like what America's been since 9/11, and how, you know what, we're going to be stronger. We're going to be better.
I think that's what you saw as we see the new pitcher Jeff Facero, one of those pickups you mentioned from Walt Jockey, and there's a guy that certainly knows his way around the pitcher's mound and can be very nasty as a lefty. But I have always felt, and I do when I talk to people around the fact that we had a postseason, not only the World Series, but the Yankee Oakland, the St. Louis, Arizona, a baseball postseason. If you're just looking at sports, and this is certainly minor, as we see Vina to field it, and Grace is gone. We've seen, you brought it up, you know, the postseason in baseball and the Super Bowl in football, which was, we have not had those two sports in the same year. World Series, Super Bowl. I don't think it's an accident that people dug a little deeper, in this case the player. I just don't think it's an accident, and maybe in microcosm here where the Cardinals If it was another team, they would probably have done the same thing, going through similar circumstances. So I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
But we remember the first live sporting event televised after 9/11. ESPN did, the Milwaukee Brewers at the St. Louis Cardinals. And it all started with Jack Buck. And I'll never, ever forget when he got out there and explained to people we didn't know if the time was right. But with everyone here, we know it is. And talking about what our forefathers have done for us in protecting our freedom, and now it's our time.
Right to Renteria. And Matt Williams is going. And you know, Jack, we did see him late last year in this series, right here, as a matter of fact. And that's JB for Jack Buck. And he handed me this, and you're looking at it right here. Okay, to Chris from his pal Jack Buck. I carry it with me in my baseball folder whenever I do a game. As soon as you mentioned, I went through it, and this is what he wrote. This is his signature, and I will carry that to me to every game that I do.
Boomer, I tell you what, it was the most amazing thing I ever saw on a baseball field.
It was amazing. I mean, we could read it. We've been the bastion of freedom, the light that keeps the free world aglow. I mean, those words from such a wordsmith who we also
wrote that.
lost. Yeah, absolutely.
And Boomer, we watch it hit there by McCracken. The strength that it took for Jack Buck to go out there and do that.
With health failing. And Jack Buck, the dulcet tones we could never forget. Remember Ozzie?
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run. And the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard.
He brought to life so many moments for the Cardinals and then nationally, and I was proud to say that I knew him and that he was my friend, and you as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And was everywhere. How many people did he touch with that radio signal we talked about a few innings ago?
Yeah.
Touch people who never even saw him on TV.
He was so funny. I mean, he knew the game of baseball. He loved it. But you know, we were blessed to get to know his sense of humor and you know, the health problems that he had, and yet he still, I mean, he was accountable. Just like Darryl Kile, he was at the ballpark every single night that he had an opportunity to be there. And I'll never forget him telling me one time in 1998, he said, you know what, I gave the Cardinals the best years of my life, and now I'm going to give them the worst years. That was just Jack. That's just, you know, such a zest for living.
Always looked you right in the eye, though. How are you? You know, had a smile on his face. You'd see him up there in the press box, on the field beforehand. And our children will enjoy the future we'll be giving. Final words of his beautiful words, written just 3 days after September 11th. I told you, carry this with me. And I will as long as I'm a broadcaster and an American. And I plan on both being a long time.
We're here. Well, I really think that this is going to be a long series, too, because this is kind of a wake-up call for the world champs. Hey, all right, you got the big two, and we know what they've done, but, you know, they're going to have to do it again. And I think this will make Arizona a lot stronger than what a 1-0 loss or 2-1 loss would have done. Hey, this is an embarrassment.
The force is made at second. That was Mark Little, the pinch hitter for McCracken. And the Diamondbacks are gone here in inning number 8, 12-2.
Why do you think I'm dressed like this?
I think you're dressed like that. For the first time on television, Oprah after the show.
Yes, you had on some very beautiful boots. Now let's talk about what's really important in life, and I would love to have them. Those are the boots? I know you're going to take good care of these boots. It's my vibe and party with the people every day after the show.
DirecTV, the guide. Call now on pages $2.99 per month. 1-800-DirecTV.
We have a stunned crowd here in Phoenix. The Cards knocked out Randy Johnson through 6, hung a 6-spot in the 7th, and lead at 12-2 heading into the 9th. Well, let me tell you about some college football on ESPN Thursday night. Clemson and number 11 Florida State stunned by the Louisville Cardinals. Florida State coming back to Tallahassee, trying to lay one on them Tigers. At 7:30 on ESPN2, Illinois and Minnesota, the Golden Gophers. That's college football Thursday on ESPN.
There was part of that Chris Creek Mind Freak you were talking about.
Is that coming up next year on the ABC Family?
It was going to until this thing went this long.
Mark Little, which is a great story, in at left field, designated for assignment a couple of months ago with the New York Mets playing at AAA Norfolk, and now here he is in the postseason. And Alex, Cintron and 7 or Cintron, and I mean, it
sounds good.
It might be. Give us about an hour, huh? You know, order a couple of those. Alex Cintron is in for Matt Williams at third.
There's another New York Met that was designated for assignment this morning.
Yeah.
Saw that. Bobby Valentine.
It was a couple of days in which a manager was certainly a endangered species. Look, Bobby, that was just a situation going real bad in a hurry. And we're not here to discuss the Met situation because it'll take us longer than this game, by the way. Kerry Robinson, very speedy pinch hitter, is retired. On a play by Junior Spivey, but with Jerry Narin now Texas, and Pujols in Detroit, and Hal McRae in Tampa. But Bobby Valentine, look, I got to think that whatever he went, he is. Let's not forget the fact that this is a very good manager. This is a guy that will turn a club around. Sometimes Bobby has outstayed his welcome, and I'm not suggesting that that was problem one with the Mets at all. Okay. But if a club that needs some help, that is looking to turn the corner and has some parts to do it, they should look in his direction. He's not done managing by a long shot unless he wants to be. You agree with me?
Well, last time I checked, he's going to have about 3 million reasons just to take a good look at whatever it is he wants.
Oh, I understand that.
He's going to get paid next year.
Well, Bobby V's in Stamford, Connecticut should do. I mean, maybe we can go up. He'll buy us a Cintron and 7.
I tell you what, Boomer, this is an amazing story what's happened here tonight. You think about that 5-game series last year. Arizona won that series against St. Louis, only scoring 10 runs. Cardinals actually outscored them. The Cardinals scored 12 in those 5 games, which is the same number of runs they've already scored tonight. Arizona held St. Louis to an average of 191 in the 5-game series. But you know what? Scott Rowland had a Philadelphia Philly uniform on, and he just makes everybody in that lineup better. They learned from that experience. You know, Bina's kind of sputtered a little bit off and on this year. He's been on base 4 times tonight. Marrero's turning into a superstar type everyday player with all of his tools as we look at him.
Off the glove of Helling in the dirt, dug out nicely by Gray. So Arizona will have their final at bat. We head to the bottom of the 9th with the Cardinals leading the Diamondbacks at game 1 of this best of 5, 12-2.
Oh,
you'd be hard-pressed to find.
Quality construction. That's our guarantee.
Old Navy painters.
You're the pants for me.
The price
is nice.
He'll wear.
This pair.
Wow, they're just $15 to $20 for men and boys.
Old Navy, we are there.
Miss an all-new original special, Chris Angel Mind Freak, premieres Sunday, October 20th, part of the 13 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family.
Baseball again tomorrow, as we've seen the end of a busy day in baseball here on the opening Tuesday. 12-2 Cardinal lead. Bottom of the ninth, last gasp for Arizona. Tomorrow we begin on ABC Family at 1 Eastern. That's 10 in the morning out west. The Giants of the Braves, game 1 of that series. Twins A's in Oakland, game 2 at 4 Eastern, 1 of the West Coast. And then Fox will have the Angels at the Yankee Stadium at 8 Eastern and 5 on the West Coast. And that'll be at 2 o'clock in Hawaii. And I should give these times 7 Central, because we know they're still up in the Central time zone on the ABC Family, 2 of those 3 games. Mike Crudell, the new pitcher. And boy, the youngsters are staying here. A little work for some of the back of the bullpen tonight. Pissarro just getting in there, and now Crudell coming on. Again, you just cannot understate what win, or really from Arizona's point, the loss, as this is Rod Barajas' first at bat, what the loss of a Johnson or Schilling pitched game is. In games started by them, not necessarily with decisions, okay? 55-15. Rest of team, 43-49. Just games started by. 55-15. But yet 0-1. And Curt Schilling will toe the proverbial slab on Thursday with a big responsibility. Not that he's not up for that task.
I would consider Thursday's game a must-win.
No, absolutely.
I mean, no team has ever defeated 20-game winners on the road in each of the first 2 games of a postseason series, which would be what the Cardinals would accomplish with a victory. Chuck Finley due to start that ball game. But you know what? These are the world champs. And Boomer, in the last 2 years, they have not lost a game that they needed to win. As far as the postseason was concerned, they needed to win the last day of the regular season, and they did it.
Well, that home field advantage that Arizona played so hard for here the last weekend is now advantage St. Louis. Now, I don't know what this means. I want to show you something after this pitch. But just for Cardinal fans, we just put it out there. All right? We go back to 1987 with Durazo, the pinch hitter, okay? 1987. The Cardinals have been in many a postseason. Put it up after this pitch, I promise. All right, when the Cardinals have won the first game of any postseason series, starting in '87, their series with the Giants. They won game 1, they're 3-0. When they lose game 1, they're 0-4. Now, I know 1987 doesn't have anything to do with this. I know last year didn't have anything to do with it. I know 2000 or 96 didn't have anything to do with it, but we just put it up. Game 1, if you're a Cardinal fan, you'll like the owner, okay?
You know what else they're putting up? That's Cardinal fans putting tents up out there at Busch Stadium, getting ready for that ball game Saturday. They will not want to see this series come back here to Arizona.
God, no. But just in case you're wondering, all right, NLCS, they won the first game against San Francisco. I was sitting in the stands, so I don't know that'll shock you, but I was. All right, then they lost game 1 of the World Series at Minnesota in '87 and ended up losing in 7 games. That was every team at home won every game of that series. 96, they won game 1 of San Diego. I actually called that game, believe it or not. With Buck Martinez. And they beat San Diego 3-1, went on to beat the Pods 3-0. Duranzo gets a walk. Game in NLCS, they lost at Atlanta and lost that series 4-3. Remember how competitive they were, and they came back only to lose 4 games to 3, but they lost game 1. Of course, they played Atlanta in the Divisional Series 2 years ago, won that game, swept them 3-0. Lost game 1 of the Mets in the NLCS and then lost 4 games to 1. And then last year lost in the game we talked about when Schilling beat Morris 1-0 and lost that series 3-2. We just offer it for because we can here at 2 in the morning.
Well, the difference, though, last year they had Woody Williams ready to go in game 2, who was as good a pitcher as there was in baseball the last 6 weeks of the season. And they had Darryl Kile ready to pitch game 3. They're not going to have either one of those guys.
Correct.
Woody tried to go. Yesterday during batting practice, he went to the bullpen. He hadn't done anything but play light catch until yesterday. And they had full hopes that he was going to be good to go. 10 pitches into the exercise, and he knew there was no chance. And that's one tough Texan right there. If there was anybody that could have dealt with it, it would have been him.
12 runs, 14 hits, 1 error, St. Louis. 2-8-2 Arizona. Arizona will take some batting practice a little after noon here tomorrow. Cards, who had batting practice tonight, will have some more of it at 2 tomorrow. And they try to turn the 2. They get the lead play as Tino Martinez starts that play to Renteria. And Duranzo is gone. Womack on the fielder's choice, and Arizona is down to its final hope. Unless Junior Spivey can hit a 10-run homer, we may be done.
I'll tell you the biggest thing I think Tony La Russa gets out of this ball game tonight, he's got his ace back.
Absolutely.
I mean, Matt Morris just flat locked in like we know he can, and he had no problems with this lineup tonight.
After the first, right? They could have scored some runs in the first inning. They got a few singles. They got around at the plate, and that was the end of it, right?
Got himself in trouble in the 3rd with a couple of walks, but then it was lights out. It may be that way the rest of the postseason and games started by Matt.
And a 2-run homer by Jim Edmonds in the 1st off Randy Johnson. Just file it away. I just go back to Eric Davis. 2-run homer. Game 1, World Series off Dave Stewart in 1990. And now that just catapulted the whole team. We'll see. Of course, there's a guy named Curt Schilling that can do something about that in a hurry. And very well may. It's not as if he had a chopped liver season, that's for sure. 23 wins. First team with 23 or more game winners since Orioles 1970.
I'll tell you what, though, Boomer, I didn't have a say-so over which series I was in. I know whether you admit it or not, you did.
No, I did not.
Here I am, and I tell you what, this would have been the one I would have picked.
Well, it's still the one you picked. I think the game 2 is going to be sharp. Certainly a little suspense, that's for sure, here at Arizona.
And a lot more pressure on Curt Schilling than there would have been. And I'll tell you why. Not only because this one got away from Randy tonight and the team, but the fact that their bullpen is a concern. We asked Bob Brinley about it, and we got back to it again. And he said, oh, it's just one of those things, you know, we got Fetters fixed, and we did this. Mantis commands better. It wasn't tonight. All of those guys struggled, and that's not the case with St. Louis. If they can get 5 innings, maybe 6 out of Finley and then Andy Bennis in game 3, they'll turn it over to that bullpen. They've got that much confidence in those guys down there in that right field corner tonight.
And what a way to end it. A strikeout looking. And what a start in this postseason for the St. Louis Cardinals, who win it 12-2. Sut, I enjoyed that, and you've said it. St. Louis, we shall see. So they got their ace, and they certainly had their hitting shoes on, with Edmonds with a homer, Rowland with a homer, Pujols with a triple and 14 hits. The Giants and the Braves, game one will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Thanks for watching tonight from Arizona. For Rick Sutcliffe and all of us here in Phoenix, I'm Chris Berman. The final again, 12-2 Cardinals, game one.
Still represent about 40% of the voters in New Jersey, and so it could be anybody's ball game.
There are rumors about former Senator Frank Lautenberg taking that seat, but Pat, what do you think is going to happen there?
Well, I think it's a naked play for power if the Democrats just blatantly ignore their own law. The law is explicit. It isn't any question of a gray area or, by the way, this would cost us to lose an election. That is not part of the bill. The law says clearly that you can't go off the ballot. And what I understand is that absentee ballots have already been sent out to our armed forces and other people outside the state of New Jersey with Torricelli's name on it. And